welcome to the It Doesn't Hold Up podcast. We review and re-evaluate all things we remember fondly from our childhood and years prior to see if they still hold up. And more often than not, they probably don't. I'm Stuart Shepherd, along with my co-host and good friend Michael Smith. Smith, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks to you. How are you?
Well, Smith, I'm saying yeehaw and tarnation.
Well, why are you saying all that there for, Mr. Stu?
Well, if you're watching on YouTube, I thought the hat would give it away. But yes, I'm feeling in a very Wild West mood.
No, well, I thought you were dressed as Crocodile Dundee.
No, 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 silly. When we did Crocodile Dundee, I had the hat with the corks coming down. Silly
Ah,
Smith. Silly Smith.
Crocodile Dun Dartford then.
Crocodile Dundee Dartford. Yep. There you go. Well, that's a little tease about what we're doing today. But yeah, before we move on to that, I actually wanted to give a little tribute because it's not something we often do. But as you well know, me and Smith are big wrestling fans, and this week we lost the icon and legend Hulk Hogan. So regardless of what your views are on Hulk Hogan, you can't take away what the man did for professional wrestling. So just to say, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. You were part of our childhood.
And let's not forget what he did for cinema
Oh yes.
with Suburban Commando.
Yeah,
I was frozen today.
perhaps this should have been the week we did Suburban Commando. I was about to say Frozen.
Yeah, if we could only have predicted when he was going to die.
Yes, exactly.
We should have pivoted and done Mr. Nanny.
Oh, good God, no. Well, that will be covered at some point. That will be covered. So yeah, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Right, so last episode's feedback, which was Power Rangers the movie, chose by the man Smith himself. Thanks, Smith. So
You are very welcome.
we received a bunch of feedback as always. So in no particular order, what a classic. Hmm. Now,
Who said that?
I'm not going to name and shame people.
Oh.
And then the next one was brilliant. This feedback was coming live time as someone was listening to our podcast. So it's first of all, it starts with, boy, if you've dissed anything but the CGI. Next point. How does someone into wrestling not like Power Rangers? You make no sense. Final point from that person. Bruv, I love you, but I'm getting so upset hearing you be so wrong about Power Rangers. These were coming at like 20-minute intervals. No, it does not hold up. It didn't hold up on opening day. And my favorite one was a truly terrible series and an even worse movie adaptation. Remember thinking it was bad even when I was a kid. Still watch this episode for the bands. Thanks. Also, sex toy or Power Rangers villain was the best quiz of the podcast. Laughed way too hard. Smith's search history must be really confusing the Google search algorithm.
And not just because of that.
Yes, quite. So there you go. Anything further you'd like to say on Power Rangers the movie, or can we just move swiftly on and forget all about it?
Oh God, no.
Okay, all right. So this week's episode nomination comes from me, and it's Wild Wild West from 1999. Ding, ding, ding. Wicked Wild Wild. Yeah, so brief synopsis. This is the tale of Jim West and Artemis Gordon, who are US Marshals who have to team up together to take on the mysterious Arliss Lovelace, who's going to wreak havoc upon the USA. That's about it. So, yeah.
That's the plot in inverted
Plot.
commas.
There is somewhat of a plot, but yeah, it's a
There,
very
there,
brief
to be
plot.
fair, there is a plot. To
There
be
is a
fair
plot.
to it, there is a plot.
There's been some movies we covered that do not have a plot.
No, it's just a thing, one thing happening after another thing.
Exactly. So this came out in America in June 30th, 1999. We had to wait a little bit longer, so August 13th, 1999. Now, we've done 1999 before when we covered American Pie. So what's on the agenda for this week, Smith? Is it Weekly World News? Is it a fun quiz? What are we doing?
No, that's what I wanted to do this week, was just have a little bit of a chat about films that are based on TV series. Obviously, this is the second film in a row that we've done that's based on a TV series, after the Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it was. Yeah.
And whilst I was watching this, I got to thinking, who is this film for?
Mm-hmm.
So the
Good question.
original Wild Wild West TV series ran in the 1960s. So it's somewhere like 30 years. I think it's 65 to 69 or 64 to 68, something like that. This takes place then, or was filmed and released 30 years after the fact.
Mhm.
Right? And if we look back at some of the other films that we've done on the podcast, like the Flintstones, for example, it's the same kind of thing. It's
Yep.
being released long after the fact, right? You are making a film aimed primarily at children, question
Yep.
mark, but with a built-in audience who are going to be conservatively in their 50s and 60s.
Yep.
Right? And you question who's that for. So the other type of TV adaptation you get, because it going to show you that, this has always been a trend in Hollywood, right? This isn't something new. We see it now. People go, oh, why is everything an adaptation or a remake or this? It's always been, they've always done it, right?
Yeah, sure.
You get things like this, which are made well after the fact. You get other things that are made as sort of zeitgeist, like Power Rangers, for example, something at the top of its powers, and they go quickly rush out a film.
Hmm.
And sometimes they work. More often than not, they don't. You also get those things like the ones that we had in the UK in the 1970s. If anyone's ever seen the On the Buses movie, or for example, what
Mm,
it is you take a popular sitcom, you do a basically long version of an episode, send them on holiday. I think the most recent guilty of that was sort of the In-Betweeners movie, which is exactly that. It's just to send them off on holiday.
yeah.
So what I wanted to look at was sort of some of these films and sort of ones that worked, ones that didn't, and try and sort of work out. So this era is interesting, right? So you've got Wild Wild West. This
Hmm.
is coming not too long after the Beverly Hillbillies, which came out
Yep.
roughly the same time as the Flintstones, both of those based on properties 40, 50 years old. But 2 years after, something which is very similar to this in terms of distance from its TV counterpart, maybe a little bit different, it's probably more the 70s and the 60s, Mission Impossible.
Yes.
So what you have with Mission Impossible is a film, again, made 30 years after the fact, 20, 30 years after the fact, that's not only successful, but gave rise to one of the most successful modern movie franchises. Similarly, if you're kind of take the same thing, but even slightly more removed, the Addams Family films that came out in
Yep.
the 90s, those are from TV series from the early 60s,
Yep.
based on a comic strip from the 50s that are still being adapted today.
That's
There's
right.
just been two animated Addams Family films out in the last 10 years that have done fairly well
Hmm.
enough to get a second one. So you got to question, what is it that makes one adaptation hit in the way that another one doesn't? And is it, you know, can it be linked to either the success of the show or is it just random? The X-Files, for example, two X-Files films, one during the height of the show,
Hmm.
two well after the height of the show, both shit.
I didn't mind the second one. It was all right.
Neither particularly big box office hits either.
Yeah,
And you question the X-Files at the time that first film came out was the biggest TV series in the world.
that's true.
Everybody was talking about the X-Files. It was huge. So you kind of question, why do these some things work, some things don't, and also why does Hollywood keep doing it? Now, why 4 years ago did we have another Charlie's Angels film?
Yep, that's true.
Again, an adaptation of a property from the 1970s. Who are these things for? Is it just either A, that they've completely run out of ideas, or is it B, that they are completely afraid of trying new stuff? So they always look at previous successes or things that were popular once and go, oh, you know what, fuck it, why don't we give that a go?
I think it's a
Like
bit
the
of
18
both.
movie. The 18 movie, for example, which is fine, by the way. The 18 film, the one with Liam Neeson and co, was
Hmm.
absolutely fine. Is it great? No. Was it ever going to be? No. I mean, look what it's based on. The 18 was shit.
How dare you? We said it held up.
Uh, yeah, it held up in a funny kind of laugh at it way, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. So what I want to ask you then, and it's just
Hmm.
me ranting and raving on a topic,
That's fine.
what would you say your top, say, three TV adaptation films and sort of three ones that didn't work
Okay,
necessarily?
that's interesting. Now, also, before we get onto that, I didn't even
Mm.
realize until I started doing my research for this episode that Wild Wild West was based on a TV series. I just thought it was a quirky film with Will Smith. So when I was doing my research, I was like, wow, this was a TV show. Never knew that.
So I was reading up on the TV show and I actually kind of want to go and watch some of it because I was
Yeah.
reading what it was about. And I was like, kind of sounds a little bit like the 60s Batman series,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of
A lot
like
of fun.
villain of the week
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
I might go and see if I can seek out some of the original Robert Conrad starring Wild Wild West.
Okay. All right. So stuff that I liked, and I thought, well, you've already mentioned it, Mission Impossible. That is, I mean,
Yeah, it's
don't get
great
me
fun.
wrong. I was too young to appreciate the TV series. I have somewhat seen some of it, but yeah, the series is brilliant. It's fantastic. Like, I mean, I know we disagree on the latest film. I thought the latest film was really good, but yeah,
I thought the
overall as a
latest film was
whole,
average.
yeah, but
There's
overall
only
as a
one
whole,
bad Mission Impossible film, and that's the
second one,
second one.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
all
very
the
good.
rest of them, which for a seven-strong film series is a remarkably high hit rate, to have
Yeah,
six, genuinely entertaining
yep,
films.
absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so I'd say Mission Impossible, definitely.
Yeah.
I've got a fondness for Starsky and Hutch, the Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson film. I think it's really good. It's really funny. I like that one.
So
Um,
that's an
God,
interesting thing, right? Because this is what you've done is taken something that wasn't a comedy and made it a comedy,
yep, it works.
which works in some instances, didn't work in others. But go on, yeah.
But then, on that same vein, I love 21 Jump Street. That film
Okay,
is
yeah.
fucking hilarious. I love that film. And again, that wasn't a comedy. That was very serious drama.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. It was a serious drama. Like, okay, so great. That those three are things that work. And absolutely right. I think that's a way of doing it sometimes is to lean into like make it a comedy.
Yep.
But that's almost like it's a Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum comedy.
Hmm.
They called it 21 Jump Street. Didn't have to be 21 Jump Street, could have been anything.
Yeah.
They've just used part of the premise and decided to hang it on the IP.
Yeah.
But they've not tried to adapt it really. You know what I mean? Like they've not
Yeah. Yeah.
gone,
Sure.
let's adapt it. But yeah,
Yeah.
fair point.
Yeah. And I guess the ones
Okay.
that didn't work, stuff like The Dukes of Hazzard, the Beverly Hillbillies, the Brady Bunch movie, shit like that, you know?
Oh, see, I like the Brady Bunch movie because it does that thing where it takes the piss out of it. It
Oh
treats it
yeah,
like it's postmodern. Well, it's a real soft spot for the Brady Bunch movie.
yeah. But then obviously there's the obvious ones like the Addams Family and shit like that. They get Charlie's Angels. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure. It's not a
Oh,
great film. The original
I
one, the
hated.
year 2001. I think it's okay.
Oh no, I'm not. I remember hating them at the cinema when I saw them both. I saw both of
Mm.
them. I had a thing for Drew Barrymore, but um,
And what about you? What about your favorite
um,
and not so favorite?
okay. So favorite ones. I think if you're looking a comedy that kind of followed through from the TV series all the way through to the big screen, The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad.
Yes, I had the Nightingale Gun written down actually, but I didn't pick that one. Yes, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, I'd agree with you on 21 Jump Street. I'd agree with you on Mission Impossible. Beavis and Butthead movie works
Oh
in
yeah,
its own
yeah, I
works in
guess
its
so.
own
Yep.
under its own kind of terms. I really like that. Um, I tell you, I have a soft spot for the A-Team film. I
Yeah,
didn't hate that.
it's not
I
bad.
might go back now, watch it, and go, oh God, that's not very good. Um, Adam's Family Values is one of the funniest comedies of the last 40 years, and I
Yeah,
will
you love
die on
that
that
film.
hill. I
Yeah.
love that film. Also, special shout out to the Star Trek films because some of
Yep.
those are really good. Some of those are really, really, really good. So some of the ones that didn't work, I mean, Miami Vice
No, it's
didn't work
boring.
at all. It's so boring. That's yeah. Don't understand it. The Simpsons movie is
Mm,
interesting, but it's a failure.
yeah.
Doesn't work at all. The Ali G film again.
Oh no, it's
um,
not good at all.
It's not good at
Yeah.
all. And what you've done is taken a 5 minute thing that worked on TV and gone, let's make a film out of it, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I'd say some of those, Charlie's Angels, again, like it doesn't really do it for me. I've not seen the Breaking Bad movie. Don't really see the point of it.
El Camino.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very good. I really enjoyed
Is
it.
it very good?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very,
I
very
haven't
good.
seen
Yeah.
it, but I don't really see the point of it.
I don't see it as a
Um,
movie though. I just see it as an extended episode, to be honest with you. But yeah.
okay. And then the two that really didn't work, the Three Stooges film, which came
Oh yeah.
out 7 or 8 years ago. I
Hmm.
mean, what was that? Who was that for? That was for no one. That was for the people who made it, I think. And the other was Dark Shadows, the Tim Burton film,
Oh yeah, I don't want to see that.
which I'm not interested in the show, but the film was awful.
Yeah, I
Awful,
can
awful,
imagine.
awful film. But yeah, so there we go.
There you
TV
go.
adaptations, which leads us neatly in to 1999 and the world of Wild Wild West.
There you go. So, how old were we when we first saw Red or experienced it? So, before we even watched it, I don't know about you, Smith, this was fucking everywhere because that
Yeah, yeah,
song
yeah.
was everywhere.
Mm.
It was played to death months before the film came out. It was everywhere. It was all over MTV. It was all over the radio. You could buy the single of it in the shops. Wherever you went, there was Wild Wild West. Yeah, and then
Oh,
when
Stu,
it was,
I did buy the single of it in the shops.
oh, me too. And
And
then
for future reference, anybody that ever meets me at a bar and wants to buy me a couple of drinks, I know all the words to that song. And when
me
I'm drunk
too.
enough, I will sing it.
Me too. It's the only song I know all the words to.
It's
Because yeah,
embarrassing.
I
So
borrowed this.
embarrassing.
So embarrassing. In fact, no, I didn't buy the single. I borrowed the single off someone else, copied it to a tape, and then I listened to it and wrote everything down phonetically until I could sing the song. That's how much I loved it. But also,
That's more embarrassing than my thing because I
oh
just
yeah,
know the
totally.
words from listening to it. You wrote it. Okay, you wanted to learn the
I
words.
wanted to learn the words because that song was awesome. I can even the moves that he makes in the music video as well. The
Did
music
you
video
borrow
is
it off
awesome.
me?
No, I didn't borrow a few. Um, yeah, the music video is 7 minutes long. It's almost like a sequel. The music video. It's like Loveless has come back, and apparently it cost $7 million to make that music video. So it was $1 million per minute, which is crazy. But yeah, that music video is brilliant. It's Will Smith and Cisco and Drew Hill, and it's real good, really good. But also
It
with
also features just my favorite ever bit of, um, and not just in this, but in all of his songs. My favorite bit of Will Smith lyrics that he puts into every single song is ha 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 ha
yes, he
woo.
does. He does. Big Will. Yeah, every time. Yeah. And then of course, then I had to buy Millennium, the album that came out, which was actually a banging album. They had loads of good tracks on that. But yeah, okay. Well, and then also, not only was it everywhere the song,
Mm.
because it was the summer blockbuster, every time you went and watched like The Spy Who Shagged Me or, Star Wars or bloody hell, what else came out in 1999? I don't know, American Pie, whatever. There was always a trailer for Wild Wild West. So there was just so much hype for this film coming out. And
Yep.
then, yeah, it landed in August 1999. And then, yeah, I saw it at the cinema. I think I saw it opening weekend because I was so excited to see it because huge fan of Men in Black, huge fan of Will Smith in general, love that fucking song, and I couldn't wait to see the film. So I don't know about you. How did you eventually see the film?
So, look, very similar experience, I think, in the lead up to it. And one thing I would note, actually, weirdly, that I don't ever remember seeing for this film, and it might just be that I wasn't paying attention, but being the avid nerd I've always been, is I never saw any action figures for this movie.
Apparently they exist, but yeah, you're right. I don't remember
I never,
seeing in
I mean, I've
Waterford or
seen
anything like
Robin
that.
Hood, Prince of Thieves action figures.
Oh, I
I'm
had those.
pretty sure I had one of them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But I'd never, never seen this. I went to see the cinema. I went to see the Cineworld in Bexley Heath, as it
me too.
was at the time. I um yeah, yeah, I saw it. So it's one of those. It was that tentpole summer blockbuster. It was the film
Yep,
that you had to go and see. Did you love Men in Black? Well, just you wait.
absolutely.
These are Men in
Yeah,
Black hats.
yeah, yeah. And we would have been what 14 when that came out. I was nearly
Yeah,
15. You were 14. But yeah,
I was well into 14
yeah,
because despite looks, I'm younger.
sure. Right then, that's enough tease. Should we get into the plot? Cool. Right then. So Warner Brothers. Is this the first Warner Brothers one we've done? I got a thing Tango and Cash might have been Warner Brothers. I think it was.
Was E.T.? No,
No,
no, it's
I don't think
Amblin.
so. Yeah, I think it was Warner Brothers with Tango and Cash because it's John Peters, which we'll talk about later. Anyway, so
Yes, we will.
fucking John Peters.
Fucking
Right.
John Peters.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So we get it's Louisiana, 1869, and a scientist is running for his life from a flying saw, and he says that he must warn the president and talks of a giant spider. I was like, did you really have to say all this crap straight away?
Yeah,
Why couldn't he just do
minute,
running for his
minute,
life?
minute one.
Yeah, minute one. Yeah, running
Quickly,
for his life.
I'm gonna die. Must get out. Plot.
All of the plot. Yeah, he's decapitated by that saw, and then we get General McGrath played by Ted Levine. Yay, Ted Levine! He's like, "You say you smart scientists are supposed to be smart." And then the film just ends with starts with credits immediately. I was like, "What's the point of this cold open?" Lasted like a
Yeah,
minute.
I remembered this sequence. I very clearly remembered this
Yeah,
sequence,
me
but I'd
too.
forgotten that it was prior to the credits. I thought it
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
like the first scene of the film. I didn't realize that it kind of freeze framed on Ted Levine and then went into these animated, not very 90s intro sequence with big old hints of James Bond about it. Like it feels very Bondy.
I liked it. Although what I was disappointed about, I thought it was going to start with ding, 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 ding. It's his own little like westerny music. I was, oh, I was looking forward
That
to that.
and that Western music as well completely falls apart about halfway through the credits where it starts to get really funky and it
Yeah,
doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It's like Western, 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 funky Western, back to Western again. And I'm also, as I was watching this the other night, I was so glad that we don't go through extended opening credits anymore because fucking hell they went on. And
yeah,
it was
they
like,
did.
all right, can we just get on with the film, please?
I love the way it's showing all like the really minor characters, all like the women who are supporting Loveless. Like, do we really need to see who these women actresses are? Really? Do we? Like, I get it. Ted Levine, like Will Smith, Kenneth Branagh. Do we need to see all the other secondary characters? Not really.
No, no, we just need to get on with it.
Yeah, get on
Characters
with it.
with actual lines. So everybody apart from Sam Hayek.
Oh yes. Anyway, right. So after the credits, we get to Morgan, West Virginia, in a very elaborate looking water tank.
Yeah, I've written here. Now, I don't know a lot about water towers. I'm not a water tower expert, and that might shock you, but I don't suspect you could bathe comfortably in one, let alone
No.
have sex with candles and a place to put your clothes.
Yeah,
I
there's all.
think what it is the town's water supply, you dirty beggar.
Yeah, it's like they've got like a bench or something with all that crap outside. And how deep is that water? Are they just treading water? Or are they standing up in it? So many
Yeah,
questions.
it's and because it looks much smaller outside as well.
Yeah,
From the outside, it looks like they'd just be standing awkwardly next to each other, going, "We're
yeah.
cooled."
Yeah, that's
Um,
the thing. That water ain't gonna be heated, is it? It'd be freezing.
no, it'd be fucking freezing. Also, straight out the gate, this film's really horny. Like
Oh
it is
yeah, totally.
It is a very horny film all the way through, and it's like Men in Black didn't have any of this.
None of this shit. Yeah, yeah. He's making out with some chick called Belle, and then he spots it through a hole in the tank. General McGrath's boys arrive in a coach and horses, and he's sort of like looking through the hole as he's making out with her. Then eventually he's not making out with her at all, and then he's like, "No, no, I'm not working. I'm not working." But yeah, and then conveniently the
Also,
boy. Go on.
then I go on.
I was going to say the boys are packing up something and announce their plan. Oh, the next stop is New Orleans. Why?
Yeah,
Why
okay.
would they be announcing that?
Yeah, that's what I've got there. Like, oh, just we're off to New Orleans. Oh, this is heavy. It's like, oh, for God's sake.
Right. And awfully convenient. They happen to be packing up all that shit right next to that water tank. But all right, fine. For some reason, a horse rams it at the water tank and it spills over everywhere. And Jim falls out, but Belle doesn't. I was like, why didn't Belle fall out? Why did only Jim
Yeah,
fall out?
she was holding on. I mean, I wrote down here. Here's the line: "You can't go cramming a man's personal effects into some hole." And
You just know where that's going, don't you?
And then she went, I didn't mean it like that. No, he says, I didn't mean it like that. And I was like, yes, thank you. I got the joke.
Yes,
I understood it was a dick joke. But you
yes.
don't need to then explain the dick joke. It's very crude.
And while we're on
This
the,
is family film.
it is. But while we're on the subject of dick joke, we then get a very unnecessary shot of Jim's cock and balls as he stands up. It's like,
Yeah, right?
there was
I
no
was like,
clever editing. You see that shit. I'm like, wait, that's his
yeah,
balls.
I'd always had that in the back of my head. I was like, don't you see Will Smith's dick in this film? Like,
Yeah, you
yes,
do.
yes, you do. You see Will
Clear
Smith's
as
cock
day.
and ball
Yeah.
twice.
Yes, yes. Completely unnecessary, but yeah, we see that.
No.
Then after being thrown down his hat, he starts fighting with the men, and then one of them looks at his cock. I'm like, oh, look, for fuck's sake. Like, why? Why do we need this? Is it a very impressive cock? Is that what you're trying to get at, Will Smith? That even a man would look at it.
Yeah, I think in this situation he would look at it. But well, it's not really in the script. No, no, no. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
I defy any man not to stop and have a quick look. Um, well, simply that does happen in the first RoboCop film as well. Actually, it's always been, I've always had trouble with in RoboCop,
What
where
bit of
Lewis looks at the
RoboCop?
guys, where Lewis looks at the guy's
Oh,
dick.
when he's having a slash. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You're right. You're right.
And, um, it's weird, right? So this is the first point I noticed. The guard that he's fighting goes to use the N word
Oh, yeah,
and
that bothered me.
gets and gets punched before he says it, right? And at no point in this film does anyone actually say the N word in
No.
that term, in that sense. Um, and this is where it starts for me. The problems with this film is because it's having to deal with the fact that what you've got is a film about the South,
Hmm.
post Civil War Confederate soldiers,
Yep.
and your protagonist is black,
Mhm.
and you have to deal with that. And the way it chooses to deal with it, and it does deal with it. It doesn't just completely shy away. It doesn't completely doesn't pretend that it's not happening. But the way it decides to deal with it is to kind of touch on it with very offensive humor,
Very.
try to undercut it and fail, and then just leave everything with this sort of sour taste in your mouth. Like it does a family summer blockbuster really need to cover post Civil War American racism?
Not really.
Because I would argue no. But then you can't have a film like this with a black protagonist without touching on it. So it's kind of they're between a rock and a hard place, and I don't
Exactly.
think they ever really navigate that in a way successfully.
Yeah, I think because Will Smith was such a hot thing at the time, they were like, "Oh, we need to have him in our movie." But if they'd chosen someone else to be the protagonist, not an issue at all. But then maybe it would have been actually wasn't a successful film anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No,
And there you go. Right. So meanwhile, across town, we meet Dr. Arliss Lovelace, and he's in a coach. And then we cut to a gentleman's club where we see Kevin Kline in drag and General McGrath eyeing him up. And like, this has got John Peters written all over it.
well, so
Like,
I've written here, Kevin Kline makes the least convincing woman I have seen in a film since Kurt Russell in Tango and Cash. And that is before I knew that John Peters also produced Tango and Cash. That
and
man
this,
has got a thing for putting men in dresses.
yes, and this isn't going to be the last time in this film we see a man in drag.
Isn't it just, right? Because what they're assuming is that we will all find a man in drag to be the height of comedy. It is not funny
It's not funny
in
at
the
all.
slightest. It's like,
It's
oh,
not
he's a man in a dress. Ah, ha, ha, ha. All right. Is that
fucking
all you
John
fucking
Peters.
got?
Yeah, absolutely. At the same time, we get Salma Hayek playing Rita. She's singing and dancing. And then we see someone in a chest being carried away by General McGrath's boys. And he explains that to his Native American colleague, Mr. Hudson, that he's waiting on his guns and ammunition that will be delivered shortly. Like, what's going on here?
Mm. Ted Levine is delightfully grubby in this film. He looks
Yeah.
fucking horrible.
He just doesn't look like Ted Levine from Silence of the Lambs. And this is only, what, 8 years later? He looks so much older.
Yeah, he did look a bit like Ted Levine in Monk.
All right, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, and also he's got that gramophone thing on his ear, like as a hearing aid. It's totally gross. Yep. Then some dude keeps flirting with Kevin Kline, who tells the guy to fuck off, and he knocks him out with like a boxing glove flower thing. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, it's in yeah, it's a booby trap.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh.
oh,
That was good.
oh.
Well, now you put it
Yes,
like
please.
that. That is kind of funny.
He
Oh.
also didn't look like it knocked someone out in the slightest.
No, just can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back at the barn, Jim's still fighting dudes and gives chase to the men on the coach, and he detects they're carrying nitro, and this is not the way you carry nitro.
No,
Okay.
because if they've been throwing nitro into a carriage like that in those boxes, they'd all be fucking dead.
Yeah, it blow up instantly. You know,
Nitroglycerin blows up really fucking easily.
it does. Jim manages to take control of the horses, and then General McGrath is eyeing up ladies of the night, including Rita. But of course, he chooses Kevin Kline in drag, and then he shoots another dude who tried to take her as well. It's like, all right, fine. Oh yeah, because he's
It's all really terribly misjudged and not very funny.
No, it's not funny at all. Then McGrath starts making Kevin Kline sing, and we get a disgusting scene of wax falling out of his eardrum. Thinking, like, oh, that's
I
rank.
knew that. I knew that would bother you.
It bothered me when I was a kid. I was like, oh, that's horrible. Ugh. We see that horses have dangled Jim over the hill, but he doesn't die. And then he spots inside General Bloodbath McGrath watching Kevin Kline sing in drag. And then Kevin Kline and McGrath start trying runs, and then also spot a man in a bag begging for his life. I'm like, why is everyone being captured in this film? We'll find out
Mm.
later.
It, well, the bit where Will Smith was on the horses that were
Yeah,
like running away, um, it just wasn't exciting. And I was watching it like, okay,
it's resolved very quickly, wasn't it?
yeah, it resolved very quickly, and it's only really there to set up what comes next. Like, there's no
Yeah,
need for it to happen.
no, no, not
And
at all.
that's another problem I have with this film is that everything feels calculated. It's like this happens to that happens to that happens. It's so like join the dots, A, B, C, boom, there we go, tick, tick,
Hmm.
tick.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
really
not
is.
subtle with any of it either.
Nope. No, it's a very easy plot to follow. Jim's being a nosy Parker as Kevin Kline and McGrath are in a room, and then he starts hypnotizing McGrath, and then he starts barking like a dog. But then Kevin Kline wants to know where Dr. Escobar is. I was like, all right, it's a bit silly, but okay, fine.
It's again, it's not funny.
No, it's not funny at all. Like, oh, Ted Levine's now hypnotizing being a dog. Oh, okay, all right. Jim bursts in the room and knocks out McGrath, and then he throws Kevin Kline some money. And yeah, so at this point, he's convinced that it's a woman because it contradicts what happens later on. But okay, fine, whatever.
Mm,
McGrath and Jim start fighting, and then McGrath gets away, and then McGrath's men start fighting Jim, and a big old, fight starts
big
happening,
old
and then
hoo-ha.
big old hoo-ha. We see
Hurrah.
Escobar's being carried away in a bag, like, help me, help me. And then Jim and Kevin Kleiner face off for guns, and then he reveals that he's a US Marshal and stay out of his way. It's like, oh, big reveal. We knew.
It's not a woman.
Yeah.
I for one was shocked. I thought it was a woman.
Yes.
I thought it
Yes.
was Rene Russo.
How wrong you were. We see outside one of Lovelace's ladies, aptly named Lippenreed, is
That made
watching
me
with
that made me laugh.
Miss
Well, thank you,
Lippenreed.
Mr. Lip and Reader.
Yeah. Kevin Branagh's fucking awesome in this. Really
He's
like him.
he is swinging for the fucking fences.
Yeah, yeah. Chewing scenery. Yeah. Why she needed to
The
lip
lip
read?
reading is also completely different to what they've actually said.
Yeah.
She's
And
not
why?
saying what they're saying. She's paraphrasing, which seems like dangerous in that line of work.
Yeah, but also, why does she need to see this? Surely they know they're two marshals. Like, why do they need to know what they're talking about? But
Well,
anyway,
surely
whatever.
they know who Jim West is because
Exactly.
they might not
Yeah.
know who. Yeah.
Artemis Gordon. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, we don't know he's got Artemis Gordon yet. We just know that he's a man in drag. Right. So Escobar's bundled into the coach, and then Lovelace and the coach leave, but not before Lovelace sends Nitro in the Gentleman's Club and blows it up. Oh no! Are they going to be killed? No.
No, and that's it again. It's like, what's happened? Nothing. And immediately cut to the next scene. It's like, right. So we're just gonna ignore. We're not gonna see them get out of that. We're not gonna see any aftermath of that.
No.
We're not gonna. It's just like same time, next bat channel, same bat time. Oh, I just got out of it. How?
Well, that's just it. They both survived, the explosion. Did they not have a bit of a conversation after? You okay? Yeah, I'm all right. Okay, cool. Oh, so you're working on this guy? Yeah, I'm working on this guy. No, none of that. She just
No,
made
no.
to believe they went their separate ways after that.
They also say now what? It's like that is not the hilarious buddy cop thing you think it is.
No, no,
Also,
no,
I don't think they say it again after that.
no, they don't.
They just say it there and then they don't say it again. It's like I thought, oh, they're going to say it like 4 or 5 times throughout the film. Is that going to be their thing? No.
No, no, no. It's done with. Then we cut to Washington, and Jim is riding on his horse to the White House, and then some bloke starts giving Jim shit for having a gun, and then he's shown immediately to the
Will
president
Smith is
almost.
walking Will Smith is walking towards a painting of the White House. It was
Yes,
very obviously a large painting of the White House he was walking towards.
yeah. There's a lot of when you watch it back, like that's a blue screen. That's a blue screen. That ain't real. That ain't real. Um, and then yeah, he goes at the president's office, and after speaking with the president, we learn it's actually an imposter. It's Artemis Gordon in disguise for some reason. I was like, what was the point of any of this? I didn't understand. Why was Artemis Gordon pretending to be the president?
Because also
Why?
the president doesn't know that he's doing it.
No, exactly. Was he trying to say to Jim, "Oh, well, your services aren't needed here. Go away. Artemis Gordon's the best," or some shit like that? Was that what he was trying to do?
I have
It's very
no
unclear.
idea the point of any of it, why it's happening, why Kevin Kline is playing both roles. Who
Yeah,
knows? Doesn't make any sense. You could easily have done the Mission Impossible thing of just having somebody else play him and pull a mask
yeah,
off.
exactly.
But no, he's decided to play. Are they kind of cut costs? Is that why they're doing it? Or
Possibly. I
God,
don't know. it's all very, very odd. But yeah, the real president comes in and Gordon reveals himself properly. And then there is a great line from the president. He says, "And you, West, not every situation calls for your patented approach of shoot first, shoot later, shoot some more, and when everybody's dead, ask a question or two." It's like, oh, I like that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's frustrating in this film because there is the odd line that's quite good, the odd joke that does work, the odd
Yeah,
performance that's quite good. Like, these little bits show you
yeah,
that there's probably something better in there.
yeah. There's a
Although
better film there.
it is kind of just like the president being like, well, you're too smart, you shoot too much, you'd better work together as some sort of odd couple buddy cop.
Yeah, that's what it smells of. Odd couple body cup, buddy cup.
It's also like it's the setup. I've written it down here. It's the setup feels very, very stale. The president's like, you've been working the same case. You're the best I've got. You'll bicker a lot. I'm uh I'm going here to a place which definitely won't be relevant later. You
Yeah,
have 1 week.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly,
God almighty.
exactly, exactly.
It's like just set up, set up, set up, set up. It's very kind of how many films have we seen all of this in
Yeah,
before?
exactly. There's so many tropes, so many cliches. But yeah, this case they've both been working on unknowingly together is that the scientists in the field of physics, hydraulics, and explosives have all been kidnapped in the last year by General McGrath, and for some reason. And then, yeah, there's a really shit joke here where Jim says, "Well, one of us was trying to catch McGrath, the other one was trying to marry him." I was like, "Oh, this isn't the last inappropriate joke we're gonna get in this film either." Just like,
There's also the bit where Will Smith's like, I don't need intelligence to tell me that, and then Kevin Kline goes, No, you'd rather rely on stupidity. It's like, do you think that's a clever line?
that's not,
That's not a clever line. That's not
it's
a
not,
clever line at all.
no.
It's twice he does that, where he just sort of calls him stupid instead of actually bothering to come up with a joke. It's just like, well, you're stupid. Ha ha.
That old wit. Yeah. Oh, and the president reveals as well that he received a note explaining that all the scientists are in this person's capture and it's creating a powerful force. And if he does not surrender the US government, he will feel the force, which we don't know what it is yet. And then also was delivered a marzipan cake full of spiders. Like, why? Were the spiders
Yeah,
poisonous? Like, what was the.
with the tarantulas. So yes, is the cake edible? That was my main question. Is if you got the spiders off it,
Yeah,
would the cake be edible? Because I quite like a bit of marzipan,
give it a bit
and
of a dust. It's
I
fine.
quite like a bit of cake, and it looks quite nice, and there's quite a lot of it. Don't let it go to waste. Also, he's like,
No,
oh, I'm off to Utah. I wonder if that will be relevant at any point.
no, not at all. But the president doesn't believe it's General McGrath and it's someone more intelligent and he wants Gordon and Jim to work together. And yeah, you said they've got 1 week. Why? Why do they have 1 week? What? Oh, that's what the letter said. They had one
The
week to
letter says,
surrender.
but again,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
like literally like plotting for dummies. You're an
Yeah.
odd couple. You have 1 week. You better get it sorted, and there's better be no japes.
Oh, there'll be hijinks. And we learn they'll be traveling the train, the Wanderer. So Jim rides off on his horse, but Gordon is on a penny farthing conversion, which is his latest invention. I've written down, right, so he's a US Marshal who invents things. Because when I was a kid, I always remember him, oh, he's a scientist. Like, no, he's not a scientist. He's just a US Marshal who invents things. Like,
Yeah.
is that what's in the TV show? Is that what Gordon does?
Um, I think my scant research on the TV show, Gordon certainly does disguises a lot. So
Oh,
he
okay,
only he
which is
dresses
fine.
up a lot as other people, but he doesn't play. It's the same actor doesn't play the president, and only ever dressed up the president like once or twice. Um, but I think they did that. If I'm right, they did that as the sort of they just had the person playing him. Then he's like, "Oh, I'll take my mask off. Oh, it was this
Right,
person all
right.
along."
Got it.
Yeah, it's and this I'll come back to. This is another John Peters thing, I believe. The penny farthing.
Okay, perfect. We'll come back to it. But yeah, we see that on his penny farthing that Gordon's got there before Jim. I was like, why is the train left without Jim? Because he's riding alongside it on his horse, and Gordon's inside knitting some bulletproof vest. And then I'm like, I wonder if this will come back later. But seriously, why did the train leave without Jim? Was it just another
Yeah,
thing
he
where
said,
Gordon's like, oh
"I'm
fuck that
wearing."
guy?
I call it the impermeable. And it's like, oh, okay. I wonder if, yeah, but that won't be relevant at any point
No,
later
no,
on
that's
in
not
a
going to come
very,
back.
very obvious way. Also, it's the president's train. So
Yeah.
why is Gordon's inventions all over it?
Oh, I thought that as well. I was like, you're telling me the minute he got on this train, he just put his
He
inventions on it
kitted it
immediately.
out. Also, what happens to Will Smith's horse?
Yeah, I was thinking that. Like, poor horse.
He's riding the horse alongside the train, then he jumps on the train. Does the horse, but he's got the horse back later. So does the horse just catch up?
Well, I assume it's not the same horse. He just keeps grabbing random horses.
Put a horse on the goddamn train.
How can a horse fit on a train?
You can have a horse carriage on a train.
Well, I don't know. Because maybe that train isn't that big. That train is pretty big. Yeah. Then Jim climbs aboard the train, but he's propelled at the train carriage. And then Gordon's like, how nice of you to drop in. I'm like, hang on a minute. Are you telling me there's a certain area at the back of the train where every time you get you just get trampolined up and then you fall through the ceiling. Like, what?
Yeah, the fall through the ceiling. It would always compensates for the speed the train is going, the wind resistance at the same time, that land you exactly in the chair. It's like the functions of the train are so weirdly specific.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you have this? Why
It's like,
why would this be a thing? All you're gonna do, someone's gonna stand on that bit, they're gonna get flung up in the air, and they're gonna fucking die.
yeah. Not that
They're
train.
gonna go under the wheels of a goddamn train.
And it'll be all Artemis Gordon's fault.
Oh, I've killed another one.
So on the train, Jim punches Gordon for some reason, and then in retaliation, he starts making really racist Asian sounds, which I really hate in films. You know, whenever people start doing like karate or whatever, they just
Yeah,
start
yeah,
doing
yeah,
those
yeah,
noises. Oh, please don't do
yeah,
that. It's,
yeah.
it's really bad.
Hmm.
And then he hits a button, which bonks Jim with a mallet and sends him under the train on the pool table. I'm like, why would there
Again,
be a bit of need for this?
weirdly specific. Like it's a
But
weirdly specific. The person has to be standing right there, be of the right weight and height roughly for it to hit them back just the trajectory onto the table, for them to then be covered by the straps and then flipped upside down.
yeah, and that if that ain't crazy enough, right? Then Gordon sits in a chair, but underneath Jim finds a lever which he pulls, and that makes Gordon also go underneath the train. I was like, but why? And it didn't look like he was strapped in either. Wouldn't he just go, oh, just fall out?
And then they agree to work together, and that's the end of that scene.
That's completely all that conflict resolved.
Yeah, resolved. Well,
Yeah.
not really. They bicker all the way through, but we just couldn't think of a way out of this. So
Oh no, train driver Coleman comes out and tells them to stop fucking about. Like, all right, cool. It
M.
took the
Emmett
train.
Walsh there being given absolutely fuck all to do for the
Yeah,
entire film.
poor guy. Jim wants to go to New Orleans, but Gordon insists it should be Professor Morton who decides. So we meet Professor Thaddeus Morton, who was the dude at the start of the movie. He was kidnapped 6 months ago, and Gordon's got his head rigged up so they can project the last image from his eyes. And I'm put down, why did Lovelace kill him if he was kidnapping scientists? Or did this guy escape? And because he was escaping, he just killed him.
Either he escaped or he was done with him. He didn't need him anymore for the stuff that
Ah,
he needed
okay.
him for. I
Fair
guess the
enough.
thing is, this is based on like a real sort of not accurate, but sort of like a real supposition from scientists that perhaps you could project from someone's eyes the last
Mhm.
image captured on their retinas. It's subsequently been massively debunked and actually doesn't work at all.
Yeah,
But for years, people thought that this actually could work, like you could project through somebody's eyes. I always thought this bit was cool.
it is cool. It is cool. I do like that idea. You know, like if you decapitate someone, like their head sort of exists for like 10 seconds or some shit. It's like, ah,
Yeah, going blah,
bullshit.
blah,
Nah.
blah.
Yeah, nah, it's just
Well, it would do.
nerves.
It wouldn't die immediately. You wouldn't
Yeah,
die straight
yeah, but you're
away.
not conscious. You're like, oh no! The minute someone cuts your head
Uh-oh.
off, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
I did quite enjoy Will Smith's "That is a man's head."
He says it about 3 times.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
that's a man's head.
And then he
Yeah,
explains a bit more. He goes, "That."
yeah.
I thought that was quite funny. That was quite funny. It's
Oh,
annoying thing
hat
is that
for
when
him.
you get it's annoying thing like bits where you get those couple of jokes that actually land, like Mr.
Yeah,
Lip and Reader.
Miss Lip Reader. That's a man's head. Yeah, I wrote that down as well. It's a very funny line. Cool.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
then Artemis Gordon feels the need to reiterate the plot again.
yeah. It's like there was a metal collar around his neck. I was like, yeah, we know all this. We know all
Yeah.
this. But on that last image that they projected, it's General McGrath, and he very conveniently has an invite in his pocket to a costume party in New Orleans. Oh, Will Smith wanted to go to New Orleans. How convenient. There you go. So the Gordon's picking out costumes for them to infiltrate the party, and Jim refuses to dress up, especially as a manservant. Now, that's actually quite funny when he's pretending to be a manservant. He's like, you basically go fuck yourself. I'm not doing that. And then, of course, Gordon wants to dress up as a woman. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, why? Why?
This is the bit again. This is the bit, sorry, where Gordon reiterates the plot. He just suddenly just goes to Jim West and just says, because this is why we're here and this is what's happening and da da da. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, we know you've got to find the scientists.
Stop
Why do you have to
fucking
explain this?
stop fucking doing it. They do it like 4 or 5 times in this film.
Yeah,
Someone
they
will just
do.
explain the plot again. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, just in case we weren't keeping track of this very complicated plot.
No wonder I found it so easy to follow. Yeah, and then Gordon suggests a little belt with a little gun in it. And I put, wonder if this will come back later. Yeah. And apparently this party is going to be full of white Southern former slave owners. And yeah,
I mean, it's
Jim,
just, I don't know, it's just uncomfortable.
yeah,
And I know you thought it was funny, but I found the bit where he was pretending to be a manservant again uncomfortable. It was like, well, why is this happening? Like, this isn't funny. It's just, you again, you're skirting around that race thing, and you
It would have
don't
been
know what to
worse.
do with it.
No, it would have been worse if he did go at the party as a manservant and was behaving like that. The fact that he does that and just basically goes, "Yeah, go fuck yourself," like that, like that's what I found funny about it. But yeah, I know
Mm,
what you mean. It is still a bit, yeah, very bad taste. Um, then what happens? And then Jim starts going on about it wasn't hard last time to see at Gentlemen's Club that you weren't a woman, you were a man. And I thought, no, that's not true. Like Jim was fooled
yeah,
earlier on that he was a woman. So that's not true at all. And Jesus Christ, they start discussing the fake breasts that Gordon
at
had
at length.
at length, and then train driver Coleman overhears this, and the joke is he thinks they're gay because like, no, touch
Yeah,
my breast, no, no, touch my breast. Oh, that feels better. Oh, now I'm hard. I'm like, oh,
I
Christ's
knew it.
sake.
It's like okay, so well, it's a bit of gay panic, right? It's the 90s after all. We need to have a
Well,
little bit of gay panic in there.
also, it's the 1800s. Severe guinea panic.
I don't know. Would it be more or less?
I don't know. But yeah. But anyway, there's no point in any of that. It's not funny and it's just stupid. Right.
Mm.
At this point, then when he realizes about the breast being full of water instead of buckwheat, he goes to like get his pencil out and Jim thinks he's gonna have a gun. He's like, I was just gonna jot down a note. He's like, you could put a gun on that thing. He's like, then where would I keep my pencil? Which I thought again was a good line. You underestimate the convenience of a pocket.
Also, I wonder if that'll come back later.
Yes.
Possibly not. Seems
No.
unlikely, doesn't it?
Why would they spend this time
Hmm.
setting this up?
Hmm.
Right. So we're at a costume party and Jim knocks out a racist guy. Again, he starts doing the manservant thing, just knocks the guy out because I wouldn't have to break your nose. We see that Jim sees Rita being harassed by some ladies of the night. And this bit's never really paid off, right? Because there's a really horrible looking contraption over a bed. And the women are basically saying to Rita, yeah, you need to go on that. She goes, no, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's like, what the fuck is that contraption? And again, there's no payoff for that. There's
Yeah,
just,
no payoff. It's
you just,
just a horny, horny film. It's like, look, it's a big sex thing.
so we're made to believe that Dr. Lovelace is just a right perv and just like makes
Yeah, I think
weapons of
it's set
torture
up
and
throughout the
sadomasochism.
film that
Yeah.
he's a right perv.
Hmm. Yeah. So then we get Jim flirting with Mae East, and we learn
Oh
that it's
God.
Dr. Lovelace's personal assistant. So East meets West. I'm like, oh, all right, okay,
So
that's there.
this is I hated that line. It's such a stupid line. But right, so this is where again, he is just strolling around that mansion like it's not a thing in the world. He
He's
is
a black
a
man, a
black
white.
man
Yeah.
in 1800s post Civil War, just post Civil War Louisiana. I, hmm. And I get it. You can't shy away from it, but come on, there's no way that he'd be walking around that party without someone saying something. I mean, at least if he had gone as the manservant, there'd be a fucking reason for him to be there.
Well,
You'd
exactly.
probably get away with it, but like he's just strolling around,
With a
got his
gun.
own, and also with a gun. Um, and why would they have a problem with him, but everyone be fine with Biling being there?
I don't know.
The Chinese were heavily discriminated against in the American South, and especially after the war, Chinese immigrants were imported to replace the cheap to act as cheap labor to replace the black slaves that had all been freed. They wouldn't be she wouldn't just be hanging around. Like I don't think that would be part of what happened.
Are you saying this film's historically inaccurate, Smith?
I am. In
Hmm.
fact, I thought it was more historically inaccurate, but I was wrong. When they had the White House, I was like, going to read about when the White House was as it currently is. Okay, no, that's fine. That's historically accurate. Fine. I won't complain about that.
What vibe?
Yeah, I find it's I've written West meets East. Bloody hell.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't good.
She says it twice as well.
She does. She does. And she also explains tonight is Arliss Lovelace's coming out party, and then Jim spots a large woman with red hair, and of course he thinks it's Gordon. Like, "Hey." All right.
Did you notice all the little spider details around the mansion?
No.
All of the windows were like spider web patterned.
Oh,
Like
that's cool.
everything was there. I quite like that. It was a nice little bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah, no, that
You
is
know,
good.
for anyone who hadn't seen the poster.
Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah, so May invites Jim to meet her at the foyer later, and then the band and singers start introducing Dr. Lovelace, who is wheelchair bound, and he emerges from a model of Abraham Lincoln saying, "Don't you just hate that song?" I was like, why did he have to enter like that? Why couldn't he just be wheeled in? Why did he have to be blunt?
Because he's got a flair for the dramatic, and also, Abraham Lincoln had his head blown off.
Ah, okay, that might have been it.
Yeah, it's like it's the
Yeah,
South. They hate Abraham Lincoln.
yeah. He has a good line here. Dr. Lovelace says they may have lost the war, a lung, a spleen, two legs, 35 feet of small intestine, our ability to reproduce, but we haven't lost our sense of humor. So, okay, that's pretty good.
He is. I
Oh,
say he is. I've written that he is swinging for the fucking fences. He's hammy as all holy hell. Like He
Yeah,
is just like chewing on that scenery every single second he's on screen.
yeah. But next, even as I was a kid, this
Oh,
scene made me cringe. I'm like, oh no, it's a dreadful scene where Loveless and Jim are both going back and forth insulting each other for being black and being disabled. I'm like, it's not funny. It's not
no,
funny. It's just really fucking offensive.
yeah, it's it goes on as well. It's like, oh, okay, okay.
But at the end, we see Jim gets the upper hand, and then a lot of this just kind of goes off by himself, like upset. It's like you were insulting him as well. Well, you started it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. We learn that McGrath is here at the party as well, and he has a meeting with Dr. Lovelace. And then Jim's still thinking that the large red-haired lady is Gordon, insults her as he walks by. I think he says to the guy, who we learn is then Kevin Kline later on, I'll be careful with her or something like that. So, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. This is also another thing. Like Kenneth Branagh finishes his conversation with Will Smith, and then he's like, "Oh, if you'll excuse me for a moment," and he kind of wheels off, and he's like, "Right, okay." Again, not going back to the point, but why would you just be letting a black man walk around your mansion?
Yeah,
A black
why
man
didn't he
who
say, what the
is
fuck are you doing here? Yeah.
and who is a known enemy of yours and who wasn't invited. Why would you just be like, "You can stay"? Just kick him out.
I presume he knows that the president has now hired him and are on his tail, but yeah, I know what you mean. Just get
Yeah.
out. So Jim's eavesdropping on that conversation between Lovelace and McGrath, and then Lovelace promises the weapons to be delivered at 10 p.m. at a very precise location on this map, which he
Mm.
draws. Okay. So Jim continues to snoop around and breaks into that room where the meeting just took place. He's doing the old Big Lebowski technique of like shading on a pencil. It's like, you've watched the Big Lebowski movie. I
Except
know.
the payoff isn't as good as the Big Lebowski.
Oh, it's so funny. The Big Lebowski is so good. And then May East enters, the room starts flirting with him, and then there's a really unnecessary shot of her ass because she sits on the table, and I thought, oh, is she trying to conceal that map between her ass cheek? No, no, she's not doing that. It's just,
I mean, I don't see what was unnecessary about it.
I'm not complaining, like, but
I mean, who's complaining?
yeah,
There's a bit where she says there's a bit of line of dialogue when they're kissing, and he says, "Oh, I'm no good at French." She's like, "Oh, contraire." I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell."
he just said he's no good at French. He doesn't know what you
I
just
think,
said.
I think she means French kissing. I think that's what she was
Oh,
getting. That's what
oh, I
she was
see.
getting at.
Sorry. But then Jim notices something's wrong. It's very James Bond, all this. And then people are hiding in paintings and on the ceiling, and he starts shooting everyone, and they all fall out, which I thought was pretty cool. Especially the guy
I
goes,
always thought,
"Ah!" comes from the ceiling.
I always thought that was cool, like the bit with the guy, like with the gun in the painting, just
Yeah.
slowly turns around and it's like, because you had it a bit early with the band playing at
Mhm.
the party. They're in sort of like a big frame, so they're like they're
Yeah.
in a painting. And I thought it was really cool, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. Well, those
No.
guys just hanging around in there just in case. They just get paid to stand stock still all fucking night, just in case someone so happens to break into that specific room. And it begs the question, does that mean every other painting in every other room is also full of men with guns?
Quite possibly. No, I don't know. Maybe it's only this
And,
secret room.
and another question, where can I get one of those paintings
That's pretty
with a
damn
man with
cool.
a gun in it?
Yeah. There used to be an advert years ago where like people like emerge or something. They were like sofas and they'd go back and shit. They were actually people. Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Mm.
There we go. So then Jim grabs the redhead and he's rude to her again and he slaps her boobs and then she slaps him because we realise, oh no, that's not Gordon. That is actually just a large red-headed woman. And then a man throws a rope and declares for Jim to be hung. I wonder who you are.
We already know who he is because he's already when he'd seen the woman earlier and said, "Oh, you want to be careful, get this one." He says, "Huh, he thinks you're me," and she kind of looks at him like, "What?"
Right, okay.
So we already know that it's Kevin Kline.
It's a good costume, this one, though. Doesn't actually look like Kevin Kline when he's wearing all that. As Jim's carried away, he starts insulting the white people, calling them rednecks, and then we've learned that that's Gordon, and he goes up to that room that Rita's been captive in a cage, and she says she's an entertainer, and then Gordon starts giving her way too much information about scientists and starts breaking her out. I was like, why did you have to do it? Why didn't you just say, "Oh, you're in trouble, I'll help you"? Why is he sort of going, "Hello, I'm Artemis Gordon, I'm U.S. Marshal. This is our plan. This is what we're doing."
Let me reiterate the plot to you
Yeah.
again. I've just done it once. I'm going to do it again, and I'll probably do it again later, just to be sure that everybody's on the same page. Also, you don't know that she's in trouble. You don't know that she's trapped. This could be a trap. She could be anyone. You just
Exactly.
assuming that, and then the camera just going to kind of ogle up and down, looking at Salma Hayek,
Of course.
a woman 19 years younger than Kevin Kline,
Yes. Dirty, dirty Kevin Kline.
but
And then,
weirdly older than Will Smith. So yeah,
yeah,
that's it's not usual for this kind of thing.
there you go. So Jim's about to be hung and starts trying to explain himself. And there is a joke here. I couldn't stop fucking laughing at. So he's trying to convince everyone what I said wasn't that
I
bad.
thought if I'm right, because you told me before that there was a single joke in this that got you, and I think if I'm right, is it where the guy goes, Georgia?
Yeah, he goes, in my native land, Georgia, Africa. I couldn't stop
Yeah,
laughing
I
at that
thought
bit.
that was the one that got you.
It just comes out of nowhere and it's delivered so goddamn well. But unfortunately, then Will Smith starts ruining it. He starts going on
Oh,
about, oh, there's nothing wrong with slavery. You're going to go pick your own damn cotton. I was like, "Oh,
this is
no.
a bit where it's like what they're clearly trying to do is to have a black character make fun of slavery, make the rednecks look stupid, do
Mm,
it in a kind of like cool, I'm gonna take the piss out of it. I'm gonna almost like a reclamation thing, like, oh, I'm just gonna, talk about it. It's fun. But it's misjudged, wildly misjudged. It's not funny for a start.
no,
It's awkward to watch. And again, it doesn't need to be here in this film. We didn't
no,
need that. Go to hang him, action sequence, punch, punch, punch. We don't need Will Smith awkwardly making jokes about slavery.
no.
Especially was like, I don't know, this is what the big deal was about. I was like, oh boy.
Stop now.
Oh,
But the Georgia line was very, very funny. It really made me laugh. Oh, then he proposes to that woman who says no. Then he calls her a man and she faints. Oh, just stop it. Stop it.
stop it.
Please stop
Yeah.
it. Gordon gets away in his coach, and then Jim realizes that rope they were going to hang him with is actually a bungee. So he springs onto the coach with Gordon and Rita. I was like, all right, fine. So all that was a big elaborate plot that Kevin Kline instilled, so he could get away. Well, what if he didn't? What if they actually hung him and he come out as, oh, Jim's dead? Whoops.
Well, no, because what they'd have done is they'd have hung him, it'd have dropped down to the ground because it's made of elastic, and then
And
they would have
bounced up.
shot him.
Yeah. Again and again and again.
Oh no, my gun just went off.
Yeah.
So what if he had to escape a different way? So the bungee wasn't enough to reach him, or what? It's all so specific. And I get it; it's an action film, right? These things happen. Things you have to suspend disbelief. Coincidence reigns. Like these things occur. But
Mm.
yeah, Lord. And then Rita, when they're on the coach, immediately gives up her fake identity. Like she immediately just reveals who she is and what she's doing there. It's
Yeah.
like probably would have been more interesting if you'd not told them.
Yeah, it could have been a twist later on, and they've just
Yeah,
took her on because she's hot or something. But no, no, no. She explains that her surname is Escobar and her father's Dr. Escobar, and she's looking for him. But then Jim says he needs to get to Melrose Point because that's where McGrath will be tonight getting his weapons. Presumably he saw that on the map that the May East had her ass or whatever. Anyway, so then we cut to Melrose Point, and we're on a steamboat with McGrath and with Lovelace, and they discuss the New Liberty incident, which got McGrath the nickname Bloodbath McGrath, the Butcher of New Liberty. And then McGrath's men are waiting on land for their weapons, and a metal tank arrives and starts firing at them. And then Lovelace explains this is for McGrath's surrender because at Patamato, it was a punishment because they surrendered and were cowards. So as punishment, Lovelace is shooting all of McGrath's men. I was like, okay, I guess.
all right.
Uh,
Surely you need those men for army purposes.
well, exactly. Yeah.
Also, when you later find out that the tank is, I'd assumed when I was watching this that this was the first time that this tank had been rolled out, and
That's
everyone
what
was
I
like, "Wow,
thought.
look at this thing!"
Yeah.
But then you find out quite quickly afterwards that that's not the case; that it's been used before. So surely those men knew what it was
I'm
and
like, oh
knew how
shit.
dangerous it was,
Yeah.
and wouldn't have been like, "Let's stand around it."
Yeah. And also, the tank is moving ever so slowly around shooting them. I reckon most of those men could have got away. A few of them would have got shot, not all of them.
Yeah, it's firing 360. Just lie down,
Yeah.
lie down. It's
You'll
not
be
going to be
fine.
able to go up and down. They won't be able to see if you get right up next to it and just crouch.
Yep. Well, they all die. So then McGrath goes to shoot Lovelace, but he shoots McGrath via a gun in the back of his wheelchair. And there's a great joke of that dog looked at the gramophone like HMV. He's like, I like that.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
That was good. And I like
Very
that when I
cool.
was a kid as well. I was like, oh, HMV.
I will say at this point that the effect on Lovelace's legs, legless Lovelace, is really well done.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the effect that effect is seamless. Like you can't tell where the joint is. Like, and
Yep.
apparently it's the same technique they used in Forrest Gump.
I was
Lieutenant
thinking
Dan.
Forrest Gump. Yeah, is good. To be honest, all of the CGI and stuff does look good. Not a lot of this shit looks ropey. So I reckon a
No,
lot of the
that I
budget went
was
on that.
thinking that. I was thinking that. I should be watching it. Like CGI has somehow gone back in the intervening 30 years because it looks really polished. Like it
Yep.
looks good. The film, they've spared no expense on the design, on the costumes, on any of that. That's all fine.
Yep.
It's just the script where the problems are,
Indeed. Yeah.
and some of the casting.
Yeah. Questionable casting.
Mm.
So McGrath is thrown into the water, and then we get a really weird shot of when Lovelace is talking to the men on a boat and telling them to bring 100 kilograms of gold. If you notice this, Lovelace's beard changes a couple of times. So it sort of zooms in
I
on him
didn't.
talking, and then it comes back and his beard looks different. It's like, was that a reshot? Literally,
Yeah,
they went back.
probably.
Yeah, yeah. It looked really odd. But yeah, he tells them to bring 1,000 kilograms of gold to Spider Canyon, and then the tank is packed away on the train and speeds off.
I
Conveniently,
mean, beats off these things. This film has a big problem with this. That would have taken quite some time.
yes,
But we're just going to cut ahead 3 hours. Fine, whatever.
whatever. Jim arrives and finds everyone dead, and then Gordon arrives with Rita shortly after, and then Jim starts saying what happened here is very similar to what happened at New Liberty, and he was the one who actually discovered the aftermath. Let's come back again some more later. Yes.
Sad backstory alert because
Yeah,
we need to have personal stakes. We can't just have him being a cop doing his job. He
yeah,
needs to have a personal reason to want to fight these men.
yeah. So now we know that's why Jim hates McGrath so much. He was responsible for the New Liberty massacre. So he finds
Mm,
McGrath, who isn't dead yet, and then McGrath actually reveals actually it was Lovelace who was responsible for what happened, and then he dies before Jim can tell him where he's actually going. Like, oh,
I put
that's
it here.
convenient.
Conveniently, Ted Levine makes it to shore. Conveniently, he's not the main villain. Conveniently, Salma Hayek knows where they're going. And what do you know? It's where the president is.
Utah, yes, quite
Yeah,
right.
fucking hell. Oh, who could have seen that coming? From the minute the president went,
Mm,
I'm going to Utah.
but why, Mr. President? Yeah. And then do get a really good joke because then Rita is outside the train station and Jim's like, no, we're not taking her along. As the train pulls off, Rita starts waving goodbye. And Kevin Kline's looking at her in one window, and as the train goes up, he's at the other window looking at her.
Yeah, that
I
is
mean,
good.
that is a very, very funny joke. But somehow or another, Rita has made it on board and falls in the same way Jim did.
Reasons.
Because reasons.
Reasons. I assume she just ran after it and jumped on the back, which you could do because it wouldn't be going that fast.
Yeah, and the same trapeze thing that propels you in. And then she arrives precisely at the moment Gordon's being a right perv talking about her ass and her tits and
He's
all
a
that
right.
stuff. And he's dressed as a chef as he's doing all this as well, just kind of funny. And then Rita starts going on about she explains why she knows why the foreign ministers are at the party and she wants to find her father. Then she starts getting off with Jim. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
why
she
not?
kisses him immediately for no reason. Also, they explain the plot again.
Yes.
Let's explain the plot one more time, just in case no one's following.
Yeah.
This very, very complicated plot.
Finding scientists.
Someone's kidnapped a bunch of scientists. The end. That's not fucking hard. And he's threatening the
No,
president. There you go. That's pretty straightforward. You're just going after, just chasing someone. Just chasing someone across the country. It's not hard.
no, no, exactly.
It's in fucking Inception.
Can you imagine? Right. So then Gordon starts demonstrating some booby trap pool balls. Like, wonder if this will
Hmm.
come back later.
Let's telegraph some more things.
Yeah,
Fucking hell. Lazy.
lazy Ryan. Then Jim lends Rita some pajamas to wear, discussing what Lovelace could be building, and then Gordon still being a right perv, going, cool, all that Rita. And then,
Love it. That was the line. Oh, that Rita. Whoa.
and then right on cue, she comes in to say goodnight, and we see her ass twice, twice. I mean, I ain't complaining still.
No, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
come on.
Then
That's unacceptable.
terrible, terrible. And then Kevin Kline says she's a breath of fresh ass, and then corrects himself and says, no, she's a breast of fresh air. And then Will
That
Smith just says, let's just get some shot ass, which I thought was quite fun.
that it's funny, but it goes on for too long.
Yeah,
He's like, breath of fresh ass. You just said ass. No, I didn't. It's like, oh, but yeah, I don't. Why don't? You
you could have just had that one joke, just left it, you know. The
should have
train,
said. You said a breath of fresh ass. What? A breath of fresh air. Let's just get some shot ass. There you go. You don't need any of the other stuff in between it.
yeah,
You know what this is? You know what this really reeks of is people trying to one up each other on the jokes. They can't let the other one have the joke.
yeah,
It's like, and this film suffers through this all the way through, right? Who's the funny one and who's the straight man? Who knows? They never settle on it. They kind
no,
of go back and forth between them on who's doing what. I mean, at times Will Smith seems to be the straight man, and then at times he's cracking wise, and it's like what they never kind of work it out.
yeah. No, I know what
And
you
it,
mean.
it strikes me as like it probably wasn't written that way. And they're just like, no, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep ad-libbing until my jokes make it in as well. So fucking hell.
It's probably what it was. It's probably just a shit out of ad-libbing.
Mm.
So then train driver Morton says they found Lovelace. I was like, why did he say that? Because he's nowhere to be seen. And then Jim discovers that Gordon's installed a knife into his shoe and he's made some other adjustments to his wardrobe. Like, wonder if this will come back later as well.
Yep. Oh, I've made some
Uh,
more additions. Oh, fucking hell, I bet you have.
Where's
So
he time
what
to do all this crap?
other additions did he make?
Oh, you see later. That's a twist later.
Mm.
We see behind the Wanderer, Lovelace's train descends and gives chase and starts firing at him. And then Jim starts being all speed and goes underneath the train to stop Lovelace and uses that bungee rope. I was like, this is right out of speed. And then
I thought
manages
it
to
was
get.
cool. I thought it was cool when they went through the tunnel and the train, like the tank drops down behind
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
I thought
yeah. I
that was
like
very,
that.
very cool. Yeah.
Some of the steampunk shit in this I do really like, but
Yeah, I really
yeah,
like the steampunk stuff. I think it's
yeah.
oh, we also missed the bit where they were talking about throwing her off the train and Emma Walsh goes, half naked.
Because you're like, I'm a half-naked starving woman. Yeah. So yeah, Jim's now on board Lovelace's train. He starts having a fight with that henchman Hudson, but he manages
Oh,
to kill him with his knife shoe. I was like, oh, well, that was convenient,
I've
wasn't
called
it?
him non-memorable Native American henchman who would have also no business working with the Southerners.
Yeah, yeah. Makes no sense. Lovelace is being a right old perv to Benicia. I think she said something about I have them in my size. He goes, as do I,
As do I,
Benicia, as
Melissa,
do I.
as do I. And it's like,
Look at
oh,
her
for God's
ass.
sake, horny, horny film. I've written that down.
So horny. Then stupidly Rita takes a pool ball and pushes it, and it causes them to knock him out because she chose the wrong one. I'm like, oh, of course you did. Of course you did.
I was trying to work out if that was done, if she did that on purpose, if that was a setup.
Yeah, because there's a bit that comes up in a minute. Like, wait, was she in cahoots with Lovelace? What the fuck is going
I
on?
don't think she was in cahoots with Lovelace, but whether she was trying to get closer to Lovelace so she could find her
Yeah, probably
father.
that because she's a selfish, cowlish woman. When you really
Oh
find out at
yeah,
the end, yeah, yeah. Gordon and Jim wake up by a cornfield with collars on, and then Lovelace is talking to them on their own train via a megaphone. And he starts, oh, this bit's horrible. He starts talking about making a mechanical device to essentially rape Rita, and then we
yeah.
get a shot of some pulsating dick machine, which is just the machine that produces the saws. Like, why does it have that big dick thing on it?
It does. It's like a giant steampunk dildo in the middle of the desert. It's the kind of thing that you'd come across in the middle of the desert and be like, I'm going to walk the other way. I
Yeah.
don't want anything to do with this giant steampunk dildo. Like, look,
Well,
you could tear me a new one based on my existing one.
and they're just based on what Lovelace was saying. It's like you're going to fashion yourself something like that for yourself. Oh,
Why does
horrible.
it? I don't know why it needs all this sex stuff. It
It
doesn't need
doesn't.
it.
It doesn't. And then Lovelace just announces he's going to Spider Canyon. He's like, "Oh, of course you're just going to tell them where you're
Yeah, I'm
going,
going
are
to
you?"
Spider Canyon. I
Yeah,
hope you don't chase me.
yeah.
I why did he keep Coleman alive?
That's true.
Why
He
did
needs
he kill
someone to
him?
power the train.
He's one of his assistants can drive the train.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, he kept Coleman alive.
I'm surprised that that character lived all the way through. I don't know why they wouldn't just kill him off.
Spoiler, Smith.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the bit we get to the end and go, and Coleman is still alive.
Yeah. Jim steps outside the designated perimeter because why not? And that produces a metal saw ready to kill them. So then Gordon and Jim are running for their lives for the cornfield and they jump into a gully and that causes the saws to hit each other and explode for some reason.
Fundamentally, not how magnets work.
No,
Not
no,
how
it's not.
magnets work in the slightest. Like the bit where they're running around and it's kind of following them, so that wouldn't happen. It
No,
just go straight to you, and it'd be a matter of seconds. Like
you'd be
you wouldn't
dead
have time.
instantly.
You wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to drop down to the ground and let it go over your head. It'd just follow you to the ground.
yeah.
They'd be dead.
Although I
Also,
did
why
like
did they
this scene.
explode?
No, it makes no sense why they explode. But I did like this scene. It was like a little bit of adventure. Even when I was a kid, I thought this bit was good, although it was in the trailer, so it gives it away.
Yeah,
Jim sneezes shitty water over Gordon because hilarity. And then, yeah, this is when we're on the train, and Lovelace starts asking Rita how she ended up with Gordon, and then she makes out it was all part of her plan to lure Lovelace to her or some shit. I was like, he ain't gonna buy that. Come on.
no, no, but he kind of does.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I
doesn't
don't
do
know.
anything about it. He doesn't do anything to her at all.
Because he fancies her.
He's just because
Uh,
he gets his lack of a dick get in the way.
Exactly. Gordon and Jim are arguing in the desert, and they manage to reverse the polarity of the magnet, which causes them to get stuck together. And then we get gay panic of Jim by
Yeah,
Gordon's cock.
people gay panic. Just we haven't had gay panic for half an hour. We better put some in. Whoa!
Oh, and then
Kevin
Gordon
Kline
fight.
explains the plot again.
He does. He does explain the
At
plot again.
this point,
And in the desert at night, Jim's eating some sort of roasted lizard, and he starts giving some exposition about how he grew up in the desert and was raised by Native Americans, but he was taken to a plantation, and his family were killed at New Liberty. You're like, oh,
I've got
that's
it.
another
More sad backstory.
more sad backstory.
Also, he finds a spare toolkit in his pocket.
Yeah, and he said, why didn't you have some sort of contraption to shoot out your ass with that? But the first place Loveless would have looked like more gay panic.
But also, it's just again, it's the convenient like it's just there. It's like that feels like they didn't know how to end that sequence. So then And then he
Yeah.
just finds a toolkit. Yeah, fine, whatever. Just gets us out of this bind. Yeah,
Yeah, they could
ridiculous.
have had a good 10 minutes of like, shit, how are we going to get out of this type thing? But no, they just kind of get out of it
No,
instantly.
just go
I'm like,
with it. Fuck it.
yeah, yeah. Jim starts talking about some desert spider and wasp, but like, wonder if this will come back.
Yes, I do wonder if this will come back.
Yeah. Jim and Gordon walking through blue screen desert, and the magnet that Gordon's carrying then drags him to Love's private rail track. I kind of like that bit. It's like, ah! And he takes him on the rail
Convenient rail
track.
track is convenient, and
Yeah.
they're right next to it conveniently.
And it'll take them all the way to Spider Canyon, conveniently.
Conveniently.
Yeah. They find their own train again, perfectly intact. It's not been ransacked or anything. They've just left it there.
Yet.
Uh, yet. And then we see that Lovelace has created his own city and a giant mechanical spider that can fire missiles, presumably from all that nitro. I was like, oh, so that's the big force that they've been talking about. That's what's going to
Uh,
destroy government if it isn't surrendered.
I mean, would it destroy the government? I mean, it could blow up a few buildings, but the minute you had to stop to refuel the thing, you could just storm it. There's plenty of access points you could climb up the legs. And as it wouldn't take long for people to realize you just need to trap its legs. Get some big wire cables, one or two of those legs goes, and that thing's going to fall on its ass.
Yeah,
It's very ungainly as a weapon of war. There's a reason why we don't have spider tanks because it would just fall over immediately.
it'd be some Empire Strikes Back shit.
I mean,
But yeah,
they already have a fucking tank. They've
yeah,
got a
just
tank. Nobody else at this time had a fucking tank. Like
build a
that's
bigger tank.
just build like 10 of them and just march into Washington. You could lay siege to it in minutes.
Well, I kind of like the spider. It look cool.
I mean, it does look quite cool. It
Yeah,
does look quite cool, but it just doesn't make any sense.
no, it doesn't make any sense. And then back on the train, they weapon up as Gordon explains about a flying machine that Da Vinci designed. I was like, why? Why? If ever there was a time not to be talking about bullshit, why are you talking about this now? And then Jim's like, we don't have time for this. So they ride on their horses instead. So the president's hammering a nail into the railroad, which takes way too long. So look, you didn't need like three attempts of this
Oh
until the
Christ,
spider
did you?
arrives.
I
Yeah.
was, I was, I was thinking that. I was like, this is the problem with this film, right? It's pacing sometimes. This film is like an hour 49. It feels so much fucking longer because they have these weird pacing things. Like, well, they're going to do this three times. Like, you could have lost a minute here
Mm,
quite easily. I don't need this.
yeah, agreed. Um, then Lovelace and his spiders say, look, the president's got to surrender, and he starts blowing up the president's train. And then Gordon emerges dressed up as the president, and then to
How do you have time to do that?
exactly, and why? And to what end? Why are you doing that? Are you hoping that Lovelace is only going to take you and not the president instead? It's like, you ain't stupid. He's
Yeah.
like, take them both. Right. So during all this, Jim starts climbing up the spider's legs, and then Lovelace captures both the president and Gordon. Jim makes it to the top, but he's shot by Benicia, and then the spider crawls away. I'm like, but no, wait, Jim West is dead. No, no, he's not. Come on.
No,
Come on,
come on
remember
now.
what Gordon said earlier.
Remember the impermeable?
Yeah. So back at Lovelace's city, the captured. I can only assume that's the city. That's not the spider where this meeting is taking place. I think it's some sort of building in the city. But
Yeah, Spider Canyon.
yeah, yeah. The captured scientist, President Gordon, Rita, Lovelace's men, and rich foreign people are listening to Lovelace giving his speech about how he's going to take over America. He's got a whole grand plan of how it's going to be divided up. I'm like, this guy's fucking insane. But all right, cool. None of this
I
will
hope
work.
nothing. I hope nothing comes along to distract him from his evil grandstanding plan and make everybody else in the room feel terribly uncomfortable for
Oh
five solid
yeah.
minutes.
Yes, yes, yes. We'll come to that. So Jim awakes and realizes that Gordon's installed that bulletproof vest. Yay! But then when he goes back to the train, now the weapons have been taken.
Yeah, now it's been ransacked.
It doesn't make any sense apart from that one gun with the one bullet, the little gun. I'm like, but
Yeah.
why? What? The president still refuses to surrender, so he's like, okay, fine, we'll shoot Gordon. There's a really fucking funny bit. Gordon says to Rita, don't worry, I'm wearing that bulletproof vest. And he goes, please shoot me in my heart, the heart that I've loved America so much. He goes, shoot him in the head. Man, that's so fucking funny. He's like, oh no.
I think Kenneth Branagh's line delivery there is very, very good. Shoot him in
Yeah.
the head.
And then this is the bit you were talking about. So somehow another
Oh,
music starts. How? How? Who's playing that music?
this is
Jim's,
like in WWE when people like get their music played to do a run in.
which
Go to the
also makes
sound
no
desk.
sense.
Gotta go to the sound desk first. Just in about three. It's gonna take me about 3 minutes to get there. 3 minutes, then I'm gonna make a run in. It's gonna be so much more impactful if my music plays. Cheers.
Thank you so much. But yeah. So he comes in, he's dressed as a belly dancer, and somehow or another he manages to fool Loveless. Because even if he was a legit belly dancer, wouldn't he be like, what are you doing? I'm in the middle of something. Fuck
Um,
off.
talking about my grand plan to destroy the United States of America, I don't recognize you. Where have you come from? I'm a racist, so this probably isn't
Yeah.
going to work for me. Um, and who's playing that music? Can we do this later?
And you're clearly Jim.
And you're clearly a man.
Yeah. And then during all this, he managed to fool him, get the handcuff keys off of him. I've written down, I hate everything about this scene. What is it
It's,
about men and drag in this fucking film?
it's not funny. Like, why do you think that Will Smith going for 3 solid fucking minutes is hilarious? Because it's not. It's uncomfortable to watch and it's really annoying.
It's
And I wanted it to be
horrible.
over. And it's made the villain look like a fool. Up until this point, he looked, crazy, but mostly just crazy and unpleasant. Now he just looks like a fucking idiot. And
Yeah.
surely everybody else in that room's like, this is
This is
weird.
really, really weird. Yeah. But for some reason, Rita's digging all this because she's like, oh, he's so courageous. I'm like, "Wait, what? No, he's
So,
not.
so at this point, just after somehow it gets captured, you realize, oh, she actually has nothing to do in this film. I
Nothing.
remembered
Nothing.
when I was a kid, I remembered her being in this film as an actual character, but
Me
watching it now, I
too.
was like, she got nothing to do. She doesn't do
No.
anything.
She might be in like 4 scenes, if
She
that.
turns up, gets rescued, gets her ass out. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
And she literally in a minute will just disappear from the film entirely.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. And then, yeah, Jim starts setting fire to Loveless with fire titties and he blows up ship with an 8 ball, but no one gets hurt or killed. I was like, you had a
Yeah.
perfect opportunity there to set him on fire, but you didn't. What's all this about? And why would there be fire titties? And also, how do you have time to elaborately get dressed up, paint all of his nails? I
Yeah.
had. Why did he do that?
Yeah. And why did he pick the 8 ball, which so happened to be the right one? What if he'd picked like the 5 ball that was nothing?
Yeah.
Just a pool ball. Oh,
Oh, fuck.
ah,
Yeah, and also
might have
prisons
tripped
take.
someone up.
Yeah, this is the point you said where Rita disappears because she goes, "You go. I need to free my father." I was like, father.
Mm, and that's it. Salma Hayek will no longer be appearing in this film.
No. And also during this, none of Lovelace's men are trying to stop Gordon and Jim. They've just set off like fire and an 8 ball and all that, and all Lovelace's men just
Yeah.
like, "Ah!" Just no one's stopping them at all.
Again, you don't get this big sequence of how do they escape this moment. They just leave.
Yeah, and then when they get outside, we see that already Lovelace and all of his people have got onto the spider and they're getting away. It's like, how did they do that so fucking quickly? Oh, when they've
It
taken the
can't be
president
all of
with them
them
as
as
well.
well. I mean, where the fuck are they all hiding?
Don't know. But yeah, so the spider gets away, and then Gordon has had time to make that flying machine they were discussing earlier. It's like, how?
Yeah, I
How
don't
have you had
when.
time to make that flying machine?
Yeah, when? I forgot actually earlier on when he's first talking about the flying machine, he was like, "Oh, do you remember that in the desert when we saw that wasp destroy that tarantula?" It was like at that point, yes, it was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. If it'd been somewhat earlier, it might have had a bit
Yeah,
more
but it was like in
relevance.
the first act. But no, they see the wasp kill the spider, and then literally 5 minutes later they're having that conversation, and then 10 minutes after that they've built the flying machine.
Yeah, yeah, wasted opportunity. And then, yeah, during this point, when they get the flying machine ready, Coleman, the train driver, reveals himself as Special Marshal Coleman and gives them Molotovs of nitro. I'm like, what was the point of this
Why?
scene?
Why
Yeah.
couldn't he have just given them Molotovs of nitro? I mean, frankly, he should have been shot earlier in the film. I don't know why he's still there.
Yeah.
But like, he has nothing to do in the film apart from tell a few jokes, contribute a little bit of gay panic, drive the train, then give Molotov cocktails. He could have just said, "Oh, there was a perfect opportunity to have a joke there. Like, oh,
Yeah.
how do you know how to do that?" It's like, "Well, I had a misspent youth in the. Don't you ask me questions." Like,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
have
Something funny.
something, not just, "Oh, I'm a U.S. Marshal. Goodbye."
Yeah, that's essentially what happens. Yeah.
Now he's out of the film. So with Sam Hyatt's gone. Now M. Walsh is gone.
Yep. Not a lot left now. Right. So Jim and Gordon fly away on that flying device, and Gordon says we should call this Air Gordon. Like, all right.
So unfunny was that joke that I didn't understand that it was a joke and had to spend some time today while researching, Googling why it was a joke. Because I
Right.
saw numerous things where people were like, "Oh, that's the quality of jokes." I'm like, what is it? I Google, and I had to be like, I literally couldn't work it out.
I imagine it refers to Air Jordan, the shoes, right?
Yes, yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that. I didn't
Oh, I
get that
did.
at all.
Oh, I
I
got
didn't get
that
that at all
immediately.
because that's so fucking tenuous.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Rubbish. Anyway, Loveless is
Also, when
go on.
they're flying, he says, "Oh, you have to get one right, Gordon. I'm glad it was this one." He said, "Most inventions work. Most of them work.
Yeah, if that was a trope all the way through, he keeps inventing guff, but he doesn't. Everything
No, they
he
work.
employs is quite
The
clever.
bike was quicker than the horse. The train's done the ones. The exploding 8 balls work. You
A
know,
shoe knife,
well,
yeah,
yeah, everything
yeah.
works.
There
What are
you
you
go.
talking about?"
No consistency. Anyway, at this point, Loveless is blowing up a small town with a spider, and then Gordon and Jim fly in on their flying device and they drop bombs on the spider, despite the president being there. You could have killed the president.
Take that, Ulysses S. Grant.
And then the floor.
Also, why does the spider gun? The spider has like a gun that one of the
Hmm.
women is shooting that's aiming up like an anti-aircraft gun. Planes don't exist at this point. Why would it
Yeah,
have a gun that aimed up?
exactly. What would you?
Why? It's high. It's taller than everything. All the guns would aim down. It wouldn't have one that pointed up. What would be the point of it?
Shooting ducks? I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe shooting stuff in a canyon if they're up on the ridges at the top of you, but
Yeah.
even that feels unlikely.
Kind of liked it though. Anyway, but the flying device is shot. That causes them to crash into the spider, and Manisha is killed in the process. Oh
I've
no,
read,
Manisha!
I've heard so long, Unisha, you were too beautiful for this world.
She was.
She was in uh Mortal Kombat 2, Annihilation.
Who did she play? Sonya or something.
Sindel.
Ah, Sindel. Yeah, cool. Right, Gordon and Jim are captured and brought to Loveless, and President still refuses to surrender. So then Jim is sent below to fight some henchmen as Loveless makes a terribly racist joke about him getting a
Oh,
whooping. I was like,
that says we
oh,
may not have a woodshed on board, but that boy is going to get a whooping anyway. I was like, oh my God, like
get
that
out. That was
line, I was
bad.
like, oof,
So bad.
oof.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why is that in a fucking family summer comedy action film? That's horrible.
Yeah,
Horrible
that is
line.
horrible. Yeah. And then we get a knife fight and a shoe fight, which I thought was quite funny. The guy comes in with like the sword for arms, and Will Smith's like, whipping his foot about. But of course, he kills him immediately. It's like, oh, okay. And he's like,
No
no
more
more
Mr.
Mr.
Knife Guy.
Yeah, throws him out. And then I forgot later on when you see someone dangling out, they're like, who the fuck's that? I was like, oh, it's Mr. Knife Guy.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. There was
first
a
like, why is
point.
there a
There was a
body
point
hanging
to it.
out there? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jim starts fighting some sort of cyborg Frankenstein monster, and he's defeated. Like, does he get defeated because he lifts a spanner up and they go into some electrics, or does
Yeah,
he just
I
short
just wrote,
circuit? What happened?
why did the Robot Man short circuit? Also, Robot Man? Like, what? Also, I find it weird, like, because that's Derek Mears playing the Robot Man, who later on went on to be Jason in the Friday the
Yeah,
13th
yeah,
remake. And in that, he's fucking massive. In
yep.
this, he looks quite small.
Hmm.
Like, he looks quite slim. He's not that intimidating. It's like, you should have got the guy from Judge Dredd, maybe, who was a
Yeah,
lot bigger
yeah,
and basically was the same character.
yeah. And apparently, he doesn't have balls either. I was like, I'm sorry, is this man meant to be a cyborg, or what? What is
Yeah, I
the?
couldn't work out what this was or why this was, but
Yeah, but it was.
mm.
Yeah. And then Loveless goes down below, and Jim starts giving him shit for being, disabled again. But then four legs emerge from his wheelchair. I was like, why hasn't he just used these all the time? If he can walk with these fake legs, why does he need to just go around on wheels all the time? Just
Quicker.
become quicker. Yeah. And then Loveless kicks the absolute shit out of Jim until Gordon fires a bullet into Loveless's leg, which causes it all to retract. And that bit was funny. He's like, "You're gonna shoot me with that little pea shooter?" He goes, "After all that, you missed." It was like, actually, I didn't. He shot him in the leg, which is cool. Yeah, it causes him all to retract due to the spillage, and then Loveless starts backing up in cowardice as Gordon is beating up women, which I thought was quite funny. Like, your chivalry's
Well,
about to be tested or something.
yeah, so the ship is about to be tested, and he pirouettes away whilst one of the henchwomen um, goes off the side,
Yeah,
and the other one just disappears.
yeah,
There was three. The third one just disappears. She's just no.
fine, whatever.
Peace out. Bye, Miss Lip and Reader. She's just gonna go somewhere else.
Yep, probably was lip and reader. Yeah. So Loveless manages to get back to his old wheelchair, and as the President Gordon are fucking around with the spider controls, at one point they blow something up. It's like, "Yeah, don't do that again." What was pretty good. And then Loveless tries to shoot Jim, but he misses, and he hits some pipes, and that causes the spider to come to a halt over the cliff. And then, yeah, at that point, Loveless and Jim start hanging out the spider, and they're still making terribly racist, disabled jokes to each other. I was like,
Oh, they
please
are
stop
just
it.
why don't we cram? We're about to kill the villain. Let's cram a little bit more racism and a little bit more disabled stuff. And also the bit where he shoots him, he just moves and
Yeah,
it skims his ass.
that's
What?
yeah.
I
Then
was like,
hit the
what?
pipes, didn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, but I was like, what? Is he? If there'd been a bit earlier when someone said, "Oh, you don't have an ass," or or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
something like he was like, I don't get why that. All he did was just step to the side, which is the problem when you have a stationary chair with a gun pointing forward. You can just move.
Yeah, 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 totally.
You can't aim. Just I'm just going to step to the side. And you can't get me now. Well done, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he survives. But then they're hanging out the spider, and then Jim pulls on the lever on Lovelace's wheelchair, which is completely reckless. This plan might not have worked at all. But Lovelace plummets to his death, but Jim manages to grab onto that knife guy who's stuck on a cable. It's like, oh, that
I
was
did right
immediate,
here.
wasn't it?
Climbing back up would be fucking impossible. That'd be so hard. He's like hanging off his two boots, so he's going to have to pull himself up bit by bit to
Unless someone can pull him
grab
back
on.
in. I don't know.
Yeah, to grab onto like a body with clothes. Oh no, it feels very. Oh no, I don't like it.
I don't know. Maybe Gordon could fashion some sort of
I
invention to
have
save
no
him. I
upper
don't
body strength, so I wouldn't be able to climb up at all. I'd just be dangling there until my arms gave out and I'd fall.
Do you
My
even fucking lift, bro? Do you even fucking lift?
no, I
Anyway,
don't.
I
Unless you're
do.
talking about pints.
No, no, I'm not. Anyway, so that's it. So sometime later, the president has created a new agency of the Secret Service, wants Jim and Gordon to be the first members, and he gives them their new assignment, which they don't know. Sequel. No.
No.
But he takes their train. It's like, well, it wasn't their train, it was his train all along. That train was on loan, you know? And then Rita announces that she's actually married and Dr. Escobar was actually her husband. I've put down that lying using cow.
I just thought, why didn't she tell them that in the first place?
Because they even say that. She was like, oh, well. And I'm like, you really are a cow. You've done
Why?
nothing but hinder their plans all along.
She's not. No, she hasn't even hindered their plans. She's just been there.
Just
She
useless.
knocked them all out. Okay, that she knocked them all out at one point for no reason. And I did wonder, did she do that to get closer to the husband? I don't know. Anyway,
Reasons. And then we get Jim and Gordon to make their way through the desert. You think they're on horses, but it turns out they're on the Spider, and they go into a sunset. Credits, and then finally we get the song. We finally get this.
mm,
Ding, 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 ding.
but the final lines are also just so bland. When he's like, "Do you mind if I ask you a question, Jim?" Actually, I do, Artie. Dun, 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 dun. Right, oh, okay. What? What? What?
Yeah,
Is that the
yeah.
best you could fucking do? That's the best thing the best final line you could have is, "Do you mind if I ask you a question?" Actually, I do. Because at no point during the film has he said, "Do you mind if I ask you a question?"
Yeah, there's no
Prior
payoff.
to that point.
If there'd been a
So,
recurring joke all the way through, and then they pay it off at the end, nope, nope.
or you could have had an explosion and they both could have gone, now what? Like they did earlier. And
Yeah,
it's stupid,
exactly.
but at least it's something.
Yeah,
This is
it's
nothing.
nothing. It
It's
is nothing.
nothing.
Well, let's rewind back. It's the summer of 1999, and we're in the cinema. What did we
Mm.
love or hate about it back then?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't love very much about it back then. This is one of the first, and there's two films that I can think of. This and the 1997 Godzilla? 97? 98.
98.
98. 98 Godzilla. Yeah, I was wrong when I said it. That I remember going to see at the cinema and being disappointed. Because up until this point, every big tentpole thing that I'd gone to see, yeah, Jurassic Park, you had Men in Black, I think it's all Dumb and Dumber, but I'd seen trailers at the front of VHSs or on telly and gone, I want to see that film. And then I'd gone to see the film and I'd enjoyed it.
Hmm.
And this is one of those where I'd seen the trailer and gone, that trailer looks good. Read the reviews have all said it's shit. And I was like, no, I don't buy that. I don't buy that it's shit because it looks good. I've seen the trailer looks good. And then I went to see the film and I was like, yeah, that is shit. Why is it shit? I'm just coming away from it thinking, how is it shit? Because it's got people I like in it. I like Will Smith. I like Kevin Kline. I like Salma Hayek. I like Salma Hayek's mum.
Mm.
Barry Sonnenfeld did The Addams Family, did The Addams Family Values. He did Men in Black. Like these are good films. Why? What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I agree.
I didn't come to this film thinking this time that this is a great film. I used to love this film. I came to this film thinking I remember this being shit. Now, what I did come to the film trying to think of this time was in the intervening years, is it going to be better than its reputation suggests? Is it going to be one of those films that everybody hated when it first came out, and you got influenced by the reviews, and you remember, oh, actually, no, it's not very good, and then actually when you come and watch it 30 years later, 25 years later, you go, actually, it's not all that bad. Or films have been so bad in the interim because when I saw the running time of this hour 49, I'm like, I remember modern shit films like your Avatars of this world or Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, and they're all 2.5, 3 hours long, and they're
Easily.
shit. Whereas this hour 40 is like, even if it's shit, it's at least short. Um, could it be better than its reputation suggests? And that's the mentality I went in with for this.
Okay. Well, hold that thought. We'll come
And
to
I
that in
will
a
hold that
second.
thought.
Yeah, because I was the same as you. When I watched it, I was deeply disappointed. I had all of that. I had all these expectations based on Men in
Yep.
Black and Will
hmm
Smith and all this
hmm
other stuff. And I love westerns. Like when even I've gone to theme parks, I always like the western part of a theme park. That's what they get. Obviously, I'm wearing a cowboy hat. I think cowboy stuff is really cool. But I watched it and I was like, oh, that was disappointing. I'm not sure what I just watched. This was really
Yeah.
weird. Why isn't it as good as the song? Why, even the music video for the song is so much better than this film, you know?
Mm.
And but there must have been something about it because I bought it on DVD. But because I went to me and you
Was
talked
it
about this
cheap?
offline. Yes, I went to one of those Blockbuster Video yard sales they have, where they're just selling off their own
Yeah,
stock and all that. And there was a copy of Wild Wild West without a box, and it was only £6. And I bought it. And again, I remember watching it again and again and again. And I
at
liked
least
watching.
£6.
Yeah, yeah, but that's when DVDs were like 20 quid back in the day and
Mm.
whatnot. But and I would like watching all the making of because I was really interested in all the interviews and the cowboy stuff, the dresses and the props and all that. And yeah,
Mm.
so even though I knew in my heart of hearts watching it, this isn't a very good film, something compelled me to just keep watching it. I don't know. So there must have been, I know this isn't good, but I'm sort of enjoying it anyway. So now, if we fast forward to watching it now, how did you feel
Mm.
about watching it 25 years later or whatever?
Pretty much exactly the same as I felt about watching it 25 years ago. In that I went in there hoping that it would be better than its reputation says. Now, is it the worst film ever made? As a lot of people would have you believe it's one of the worst films ever made. No, it's not one of the worst films ever made. It's perfectly competently made. A couple of the jokes land, not many. Even Kenneth Branagh's ridiculous and his accent's fucking terrible. And he's just chewing the scenery, but it's fun.
Very.
Um, but the problem is that there are bits of that and then it stops. And as I said earlier, for an hour 49 film, it feels fucking longer than that. It drags and drags and drags. You've got Kevin Kline is miscast.
Yeah,
I
he is.
don't. Will Smith is barely well cast. Like he's all right, but you know, I, Sam Hayek's not in it. Ted Levine's barely in it.
Mhm.
Um, the cross-dressing, the humor, the racist stuff, the cripple stuff, all of that is like, good Lord. Like it just feels there's so many lines where there could be a joke where the whole thing's just left hanging, or scenes that just end because they couldn't work out how to get out of it, so they just conveniently end it, you know?
Mm,
And it feels like what it is, which is a film that's been through multiple writers and suffered from the whims of producers to
yeah.
become this weirdly compromised nothing film that's not really for anyone,
Mhm.
doesn't it's not particularly thrilling. Like the action scenes aren't thrilling. The effects are great. Like it
Yeah.
looks great. The effects are great. There are the odd moments that work, and it obviously sticks in the brain because there are bits of this film that were just burnt into my memory, and I'd only
Mhm.
seen it maybe twice before this. But it's just not very good.
That's interesting. No, I agree with some of your points, but I didn't think it was boring. I thought it breezed past me. I thought the pacing was really good, and I just thought it was just a nice, easy watch. Yes, it's deeply problematic, the racism stuff, the objectifying women, the fact it's not very funny, there's some
Mm.
weird miscasting in it. But did I have a good time watching it? Yeah, I did. It was just kind of fun. It was just a nice, easy watch. But I wasn't distracted, I wasn't bored, and I was mildly entertained at some of the jokes. So yeah, I had a good time watching this.
You made a good point there about the objectification of women there because there is rife in this film, and not only and the worst thing is not only does it objectify the female characters entirely, but beyond that, it doesn't give them a character.
No,
Not a single one of them has a character beyond woman.
no, with a
That
nice
is
ass.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all the women are there to do.
yeah.
They are, and it is all our stuff as well. It's either it's Bai Ling or it's Selma Hayek or it's him staring at Munitia. Like it's all butt stuff.
Apart from
And
Kevin
it's
Kline's boobies.
no, that is true. That is true. Apart from the booze, but even that's played as a punchline.
Mm.
It's just it's a film that thinks that cross dressing is the height of hilarity. I thought Kevin Kline playing the president was weird. I don't know why.
Mm.
Like, you know, have him as like a master of disguise, which obviously is what you meant to think because Will Smith only finds out that he's not the president because he's wearing the wrong ring,
Yeah.
the wrong school ring. So he's obviously meant to be good at disguises, but is he good at disguises? So why don't you just cast somebody else in those roles, then have him pull off the mask,
Yeah,
or have
yeah.
it be him and like somebody else's voice comes out of his mouth, or have him be shit at it because you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
And
I
it
know what you
tries to
mean.
have it both ways because obviously fucking Kevin Kline. And it's a bit that first scene where he turns the president is like, oh, sorry, am I meant to be being fooled by this? Oh, no, I'm not that stupid, so I'm not being fooled by this. I mean, I've not even been fooled by it in better films like Ghost Stories or the Suspiria remake where they've cast people under heavy prosthetics to play different people. Even then, you can see it. You're like, I know who that is.
Yeah. Well, I
Anyway.
haven't seen Suspiria, so keep that to yourself. Anyway.
Oh,
All right.
there's no point to it in Suspiria. It's not like a reveal or anything.
Oh.
It's completely redundant. They've just got somebody cast in two roles, one of which three roles actually, one of which requires them to wear makeup.
Oh yeah, it's a bit like when Jack Nicholson plays that other guy in Mars Attacks. Like,
Yeah.
why?
What's the
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
What are you
All
doing?
right.
Is it just because they're having fun? At least in Mars Attacks, it's fun. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway, let's move on. Smith trivia.
All right, mate. Smith trivia. There's a little bit to get through. It's kind of an interesting one, this. So, $170 million budget. conservatively 221 million take at the box office, which, as we all know, makes it a flop because
Hmm.
films need to pretty much double their budget to make their money. Um, as we said, based on the TV show The Wild Wild West, which ran for 4 seasons between 1965 and 1969, with two TV movies coming in 1979 and 1980. Robert Conrad, who's the star of the original film, was offered a cameo in this film, but declined it. Rarely for one of these things because he read the script. He was supposedly going to play the President Grant. Was apparently the role that he had been offered, which would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, agreed.
Weirdly, the show was ultimately cancelled for being too violent.
Hmm.
There was a lot of complaints about it being too violent for the time, so it got cancelled because of that. Loveless was originally called a completely different character, Miguel Hote Loveless, and who was a dwarf,
Hmm.
who had a huge henchman played by Richard Kiel, who was Jaws in
Yes.
Bond films. In fact, I said earlier, like looking through, it's kind of the kind of show we had like a villain of the week, and they're all like stars of the time. So, and a lot of them who'd also played Batman villains. So I kind of want to go and watch this show.
Maybe you should.
So directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, and I'll come back to that in a second, but a story by Jim Thomas and John Thomas, who basically came up with the idea of Predator. They came up with the original story idea. It was then handed over to two screenwriters, S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddox, who wrote Short Circuits 1 and 2, Batteries Not Included, Ghost Dad, um, and a lot of the Tremors films.
Hmm.
The first one, and then all the shit sequels. They added the giant mechanical spider. Apparently, when they first got brought on to write their version of the script, which had come from Jim Thomas and Don Thomas, um, they one of the notes we given was that it can't include nuclear weapons. So God knows what the earlier draft of this script was, but they were the people that were instructed to add in the spider. It was then turned over to Jeffrey Price and Peter S. Stamen, who've written Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Doc Hollywood. Then after this, The Grinch and Shrek 3.
Hmm.
So, um, original director was going to be Richard Donner, director of Superman and The Goonies, and 3 episodes of the original series. He
Hmm.
was early in his director career, so that would have been quite nice. Written by Shane Black,
That would have
known
been
as the
cool.
writer of The Last Boy Scout and others, and starring Mel Gibson.
Now that's
Uh,
interesting.
Now, Donner and Mel Gibson left to go and make Maverick,
Yeah.
which is a film that I have a soft spot for and I really enjoy.
Yeah. Also a
Uh,
Western.
that was that was the film I watched again and again and again when I was younger. Was Maverick,
Hmm.
not this. Then Tom Cruise came to come on, but then left to do Mission Impossible, as obviously we brought up earlier, another TV adaptation. Then Sonnenfeld, Will Smith, and George Clooney, who was originally going to play Artemis Gordon, but then dropped out before Kevin Kline stepped in. Basically, they would have needed to have rewritten the character to fit George Clooney
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
as written, it wasn't going to work. So, the most important creative force in this film, though, not Barry Sonnenfeld, the ultimate director, Will Smith, or Kevin Kline, was the producer John Peters, producer of such films as Caddyshack and Batman Returns. Now, how much do you know about John Peters?
Well, he did Tango and Cash, which we also covered, and
Yes.
and was heavily behind Superman Lives.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. So he started off his career as Barbra Streisand's partner,
That's
romantic
right. Yeah.
partner, and hairdresser, who then later went on to become a film producer. As you say, he was heavily involved in Superman Lives. And the famous story that Kevin Smith, the director, tells when he was brought on to write Superman Lives, which was going to be directed by Tim Burton and star Nicolas Cage as Superman, was he had 3 edicts for Superman. One, he could not wear the costume, no spandex. Two, he could not fly because it would be silly. This man is an idiot. Three, he had to fight a giant spider in the third reel. And he was big on this spider because also, on Netflix, they got the show The Sandman.
Mhm.
Neil Gaiman, the writer of Sandman, originally was going to make a film of it. And again, John Peters involved said, it needs to have a giant spider in it that he fights at some point. Man is obsessed with giant spiders.
And Drake.
He eventually and putting men in drag, yes. He also in this wanted motorcycles. So there was apparently in the original script there was a scene where Jim West rides overnight to get to the president's, to get to the White House, which is early on in the film.
Hmm.
And he said to the writers, no, horses are boring. No one likes horses. Let's put them on motorbikes. They were like, but motorbikes don't exist. And he wouldn't accept that motorbikes don't exist, which is where Gordon's bike comes from.
Mm, kind of explainable though, depending
Kind of
on
works, but
yeah.
he also wanted at one point to have a flying stealth bomber in the final act as the villain's main ride, but they said, "Well, no, you can't do that." And then they landed back on the spider.
Yeah.
Music for the film was by Elmer Bernstein, who composed such films, but over 100 screen credits, 100 films he'd composed the scores for, but just Little was the Magnificent Seven, Sweet Smell of Success, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Blues Brothers, Airplane, and Ghostbusters. So wide career, many different
Yeah.
genres, great films, one and all. As everybody knows, Will Smith turned down The Matrix to star in this film. Silly, silly Will Smith.
But would it have
Um,
worked, The Matrix or Will Smith? I reckon they just would have made it work.
no, I don't think it would have worked as well at all.
Yeah, Keanu's great in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The role of Rita, Jennifer Lopez, and Penelope Cruz were originally considered. We talked about Optimus Gordon. Apparently, Kevin Kline was supposed to be the straight man, but didn't really want to do that, so kept adding jokes in. The director, Barry Sonnenfeld, liked to stoke tensions between Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh by repeatedly misremembering what films and what plays they'd been in and asking them about the others' performance credits to try and get them to have a rivalry, which, why? They barely share any screen time and it doesn't make any sense.
No, exactly.
Um, what else have we got here? There was 20 to 40 million of reshoots following bad original test screenings, including the tower scene, the water tower scene at the beginning of the film was changed to add more sex and more touching. Originally, they were just in there.
Mm.
It was also completely changed the actress who was in that role without telling the actress who originally did it that had happened.
Oh, that was shitty.
Um, adding to the um, adding to the cost of the film on the press tour after the film, they had three Gulfstream jets on hand, one for Will Smith and his entourage, one for Barry Sonnenfeld, and one for John Peters, just in case he decided to turn up. But it never did anything, just sat there empty. They had it sat there in case he fancied showing up. John Peters is an insane person.
Yeah, he sounds it.
Finally, the film didn't do very well and won numerous Razzie Awards, which original Wild Wild West star Robert Conrad turned up in person to collect on behalf of the film.
That's fantastic. So then, the final verdict. Does
Yeah.
it hold up?
Mm. Look, I'm going to say no. It is not as bad as its reputation might suggest, but it is more, it commits a greater sin than being bad in that it's just fucking boring.
I say I didn't find it boring. It's just there. Yeah, yeah, it has many, many problems, but I didn't find it boring. Far from it.
Hmm.
Thoroughly, well, not thoroughly, but I was entertained while watching it. But
So do you think it held up?
just, just,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So we've got one of those weird ones where it kind of holds up. You think it doesn't, I think it
I
does, which
think
we
it,
haven't
I
had for
think
a
it
while.
doesn't.
So, but things. Oh, this is how I watch it. Would I watch it again? Yeah, probably.
Would I watch it again? No, I don't see. This is. I don't think I would. I don't think I'd ever sit down and go, oh, I'm going to watch Wild Wild West, except maybe in like 20 years when I go, "Ooh, that's not as bad as I remember it."
Hmm, maybe yeah, in another 20 years you might enjoy it. But yeah, I put it this way, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than I did when I saw it at the cinema. When I saw it at the cinema, I was deeply disappointed. When I watched it this time, probably because I knew oh, it's a bit crap, I probably had a better time with it. And
Well, we
like you
should.
said, there's been so much garbage that's come out in the last 25 years. Like, it really isn't that bad.
Well, no, I mean there are films without half of the negative reputation that this film has that far more deserve the negative reputation. There are some absolute stinkers out there that people sort of either defend for some reason, enjoy for some reason, or just let it pass by. And I think that's the problem.
Mm,
I'm going to get on my soapbox about this with the streaming era and all of those films that are made for streamers that just get pumped out, that have
yep.
no art to them, that have no quality to them, have no creative voice to them, even if that creative voice is confused and slightly racist and enjoys men in drag. It doesn't have any of that. It's just they're just bland, they are
Yeah.
boring, they are product that get churned out week after week. And those films are worse than this because at least this is memorable. At
Yeah,
least this has
exactly.
something to it. I mean, it's not very good, but it's not the worst film ever made. Does it hold up? No, because I still didn't like it. But it's not this great big terrible thing that people like to think it is.
Yeah. And it's not forgettable. You'll always have those scenes that are burned in your head that happened in
Well,
it.
exactly. In the same way as
Yeah.
we should probably go back and look at the 1998 Godzilla film at some point.
Yeah, we probably should. Anyway, well, while we're on that subject, it's your turn to pick next episode's nomination. What you got for us?
Yes, so I've decided to take us back to the 80s. It's
Ooh,
been a while since we've been in the 80s.
that it has.
And I wanted to find a film that also had a memorable theme tune,
Oh,
similar to Wild Wild West. Back in the days when film themes were a thing, They don't really happen anymore. So I've picked one of the most memorable ones.
Okay.
Um, and it is the never-ending story. Na, 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 na.
Excellent. This might be another case of song better than film, but we shall see. Excellent. The never-ending story. That has actually been on our
Mm,
list for a while, so well done for picking it.
hmm.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, just before we get out of this, I want to plug our socials. So you can reach us on email at it doesn't hold up podcast at gmail.com, or on Instagram at it doesn't hold up podcast, or on Twitter or X as it's now known, it doesn't hold up pod. We're on YouTube, it doesn't hold up podcast, and we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other good places you listen to podcasts. So give us a good review, like us, share us, and remember we cover all things. Well, we cover all things. So send your suggestions. So Smith, is there anything else you'd like to say on Wild Wild West before we get out of
Half naked.
there? You're quiet. And I would like to say, spending time with all of you today has been a breath of fresh arse.